What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. You see the title, you see the thumbnail. We're going to get right into it.
Damn, Perk did this?
I don't need no one to save me. I was born to be the greatest. All that time in that basement, all that time isn't wasted. Rapping getting faded. I just wanna tell my mom that I made it. Just wanna be the topic of the conversation. Used to rock the gold plated. Now I'm wearing gold chains like I'm famous.
What's going on, everybody? Again, it's your boy Kings and Dreams. Happy Monday. I hope everyone had a great weekend. Thank you all for rocking out with your boy. This is a special live on Monday. Got my special guest in the building. What's going on, brother?
What up? What up? What's going on, man? How's everything? How's it going? How's
Man,
life?
Man, life is going well, man. Life is going great, man. How's life with you, brother?
I'm chilling, man. Just out here doing me as usual. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
I'm
Yes,
good,
sir.
I'm
Yes,
good.
sir, man. Man, we gotta talk about some things in these YouTube streets, man, because it seems like a tide maybe changing. I don't know, but I want to hear your perspectives on it, man. Definitely want to hear your perspectives on it
All right,
because
let's do it. Let's do it.
yes, absolutely, man. So I'll jump right into it, man, and I'll ask a couple of questions, and then I want to go through this video you and I were actually supposed to go through a couple of months ago. But my first question is, so what are your thoughts on the travel movement in reference to dating now,
Mm.
as opposed to when I guess when you first got wind of the passport bro movement?
I mean, it's still the same. It's all the same thing to me at this point. This is the thing. And I also actually talked about this on my show earlier.
Yeah,
Because this guy, he was talking about being in one state and hollering at a girl in other states and everything, and he was still in America, so it didn't even matter. But what I say
yeah,
is, no matter where you go, excuse me, there you are. So
yeah.
it really doesn't matter. Like if you a guy that could get women here, you get women anywhere. If you're a guy who can't get women here, you're not going to be able to get women other places. So even though it seems like you're getting women, you're not really getting women. It's the same thing, but a different phase or a different look, but it's the same concept. You see what I'm saying? So there's nothing that really that really changed at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying?
I can agree to that to some aspect. Like
Mhm.
if you're a guy and you have challenges getting women stateside, you're
Mm.
gonna have challenges getting women abroad. Now, what I
Right.
will say now what I will say is that um not necessarily a pushback, but an add-on, if you will, would
Mm.
be that the chances of getting quality does get exponentially better, you know. But before we get right into it, because I know that we're kind of pressed for time. So there was a video that you had did, and it was a reaction to O'Shea Duke Jackson's video,
Mm.
and it was about passport bros needing to learn game, and one of the things that you and I have agreed on was the aspect of game, because I
Mm.
do think that it also it helps when a guy's able to have mouthpiece and that charisma, and
Right.
bring that ambiance, if you will, about you. I
Mm.
think that does help.
Right.
So let me jump right into the video. Let me know whenever you're able to see my screen, brother.
All right. Cool.
All right. But before we do that, let me give a couple of shout outs to the chat really quickly while this is loading up. All right. I think I might have made it too big. Okay, here we go. Charles Jones is in the building. What's up? Uncle Luke, what's up? Bobby the Space Ghost checking in. My man Tobias the Traveler, what's up? What's up? House of Lamar. All right, come on, man. No more. Nah, man. We gotta have cool comments today, guys. Cool comments. All right, let me Let me see where we're at. Let me make this bigger.
Is the video playing? I can't hear nothing.
Oh, you can't hear it?
No, I can't hear nothing.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I can't hear a damn thing. I was waiting on you. I was like, what's going on? I can't hear nothing.
Yeah, no, the video. Okay, guys, put a one in the chat if you're able to hear the video.
I can't hear anything.
Yeah, guys, put a one in the chat if you're able to hear the video. Because I thought that everyone was able to hear it.
Nah, I can't hear nothing.
Oh, you know what? I shared the wrong screen. That's what happened. Okay, my bad.
I was waiting. I thought you was trying to get
because I'm like, okay, party foul. My bad. Okay.
Like,
yeah. Yeah. No. Okay, my bad. Okay.
That's funny.
All right, here we go. Hey, man, you know when we do this live, it's all good. All right, here we go. All right, now tell me if you're able to see the screen.
Oh, yeah, I can see it now.
Okay, all right, cool. All right.
And we're going to talk about this video, okay? Because according to the Passport Bros, chicks overseas are just way more submissive. You understand? Like, you can just go to another place and all of your, women problems are going to be solved. You feel what I'm saying? So let's get real here, though. Let's get real here. You understand? Because we want to talk about this video in particular, because I've seen multiple videos that's been done about different situations about these guys doing their.
Really quick, you can hear, right?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Okay, I was like, if this is awkward again, I would just scrap it.
No, you good. No, you good.
I want you guys to understand that I do not care if a man goes overseas, pays for pussy. I don't care if a guy is tricking, simping. I don't care. Do what you do with your life. What I do care about, though, is when people try to act as if they don't need game. And then what happens is that reality shows them that they do. You understand? So do what you do, but don't act like you don't need game. Don't act like you don't need to step up your game in order to get things going smoothly in the direction you want it to go. Because if you're doing that, you're being delusional. Shout out Monogamous Play, what's popping, bro? You're being delusional, right? So I'm going to go through this video. We're going to, start it, stop it, and all that other stuff. And then we're going to talk about this. Let's go.
A phenomenon in the United States. And of course, they come with their critics, but they also come with the facts. And the facts are, it's hard to get a woman in America to be submissive.
Already, we starting off on some bullshit. The fact is that in America, it's hard for women to be submissive. No. Listen. We have t-shirts at thebadboystyle.com that say submissive women are sexy. We have t-shirts at thebadboystyle.com that says women love sex, right? So it's not a fact that it's hard to get women to be submissive, because if it was a fact, then that would mean every guy in America would have a hard time getting women to be submissive or a woman to be submissive to them. Now, I know that's not an issue for me, and I'm in America, right? It's not an issue for me. So That's not a fact. That only happens to guys who have weak game. You feel what I'm saying? If your game is weak, women will not submit to you. Do you see?
All right, so let me just stop it right there before the video starts, right? So now you say that you disagree with O'Shea Duke Jackson saying that it is actually a fact that there are a lack of submissive women in the United States, right?
Yeah.
I see. I have pushback on that because, I mean, now whether, regardless of whose fault it is, because I do think that men have played a part in this, right? I will say that not even just in the United States, but just the westernized culture has more or less kind of empowered women to embrace their masculine traits. So when you say, when O'Shea Duke Jackson says that they're more submissive outside of the United States, I mean, I just don't see where the disconnect is from what you're saying to from what you believe to from okay. What I'm saying is that how could that not be true? Long story short, let me just rip
Right.
the
I'll tell you how. I'll tell you how. So
Okay.
basically, the word submission means being under a mission, right? So sub meaning under, mission. So you're under a mission.
Right.
So what happens is that everywhere women are submissive, right? It just depends on who they're going to be submissive to. So to say that it's a fact that women are not submissive in America or in the West is wrong, because you have a lot of women in America who are submissive to the men that they're in relationships with. And also you have lots of women who are in the job market. So in order to have a job, you have to be submissive. You see what I'm saying? So the fact that women submit to their jobs, right, means they have the ability to submit, which means they're submissive. So whether or not they're submissive to a particular man or a particular situation, that's what it is. You know, it just depends on that particular individual woman. But what I'm saying is that in general, women will submit when they are under a particular mission and they want to be led by that particular person, job, or situation. You see what I'm saying? So the thing is that when you have women overseas seem like they're more submissive because women overseas usually are more submissive in the sense that they submit to what the society has said. So what happens is that in their society, right, they're more submissive based on their culture. Now, the funny part is that even in their culture, right, you have guys who are having trouble with women. You see, so it's not just this blanket thing that women are going to be submissive overseas. It's that when men from America come overseas, you guys are the top dog overseas because you're American, because America is looked at as the greatest place on earth. You understand what I'm saying? To a lot of different countries. So what happens is when you go any place as an American, you're looked at as the top dog. So when you're the top dog, women in general are going to look at you as more attractive, which means they're going to be more submissive. Right now, the thing though is that you're looked at as the top dog in a certain category. You looked at as, well, you're the American, so you have that status. You see what I'm saying? That status will bring more submission. My question is that why can't these guys also have that same sort of energy, status, attraction where they're at? You see what I'm saying? So it's about the particular guy. It's not about the women. You see what I'm saying? The women are the ones who follow the lead. So the guy has to lead. And then he'll find women who are submissive. So it's not that, well, damn, in America, you can't find submissive women. It's no, you're just not getting submission from those women in America because you're not that guy. That's how it works.
Now, okay, so this is where like I disagree with some of the things that you mentioned, right? Because you're absolutely right. Like when women, when they have a job, they submit to their boss and things of that sort, right? Now, what the problem is that women in the West, they view that job as more of a priority than their man, right? And it's usually because women have been told either from their mom or big mama, auntie, you know, whatever, right? Like, hey, you know, after you finish school, get you a good job. Once you get the good job and things of that sort, then you find your man, right? So like and I'm sure obviously like you've had clients tell you, hey, you know what, like I have this going for me, I have that going for me, and this woman now, like she's saying that she's busy, she's focused on her career,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then by the time she wants to get with you, like she doesn't look the same that she did 10, 12, 15 years ago. And I would say that like that's one of the issues that guys have, because I believe like there's no issue with the woman working, but the issue is that you're so quick to submit to your boss as opposed to submitting to your man.
Mm-hmm.
That's where guys are saying, hey, you know what, like these women, they could work overseas, have a job, but they know when they come home that I'm still the king of the castle. That's where the disconnect really comes from.
No, I understand exactly what you're saying, but this is
Yeah.
this is the thing though.
Right.
So, okay, for example, you have guys in America who are in marriages, let's say, for example, and the women are running the relationship. Would you agree with that? Like they're the guys are like yes, there, and they're those type of guys, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I
Right.
mean, trust me, I know it. I know it all too well. I know it all too well, man.
Right. And so
Yeah,
right. And so that's what I'm saying, where you have those type of situations. The reason why that occurs is because those guys are not those women's first choice. Like they don't really, those are the guys they settle for. Just like you said, like when they were
Right.
younger and hotter, right? They were dating all
Right.
the bad boys and all that other stuff, right?
right,
As they gotten older, right? And let's say they got out of shape and they wasn't as attractive or whatever. And so they settled with the nice guy. The nice guy is a guy in the marriage who the women disrespect and don't really, they don't have any respect for those guys, right?
right.
Now, what happens is that let's say, for example, those guys are like, you know what, forget all these Western women. They treating us like, crap or whatever. We're going to go overseas and get these other women, right? What will happen is that they will be the same type of guy over there, but just at a higher status because the women that they're going for, right? The women that they're going for, they're not as in an affluent situation as the Western woman. So therefore,
Right.
when that guy who would have trouble over here, the nice guy, when he goes overseas, he becomes the top dog. It's just like, for example, let's say you have a white girl in America and she's only dated white boys, but she's heard about black guys. She's like, oh, these black guys are dangerous and they're sexy or whatever, right?
Mhm.
She might end up talking to a black guy who's like a corny Carlton type of dude. But the fact that he's a black guy makes her think that he's like the shit, but he's a corny dude. He's like a cornball. He's like a nerd.
Mhm.
But what happens is that because she's, that white girls has only dealt with white guys, right? That black guy seems like the shit. So the same thing happens when American men, or I should say males, go overseas. He seems like the shit because he's an American, but he's still Carlton. Do you understand what I'm saying? He's still the corny guy. That's what I'm trying to say. So what happens is that you're always the situation is the same. It's just transferred to a different circumstance. So just like, for example, you might be a guy in America who's like, damn, you know what? I want to get an escort or a prostitute. That might run you a few $100s. But then if you go to Brazil, it might cost you $40. You're doing the same thing. It's just cheaper over there. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying, where the submission that you're getting over there is just cheaper. Now, again, it's okay. I'm just saying that you got to understand that's what it is. You see what I mean? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, so I hear what you're saying to a certain degree. I still have to push back again and on certain points, and let me explain why, right? So these certain points that I'm pushing back on, like I agree. Like, listen, like if you're corny or whatever the case is, or you're looked at as a beta, like after a while, you're dealing with this woman, and it doesn't matter where in the world you are, like women are going to test you no matter where in the world. That's universal, doesn't matter, right? And it could be advertently or inadvertently. I just think that it's just something a part of woman nature to just do that. Now if you are a man that doesn't have frame, yes, absolutely. If you don't have frame, from where, the West United States, and then you go abroad, after a while, you probably will lose frame. Now, what I push back on is the fact that, like, it's the culture it's the culture how these women came about, like, to understand that man is head of household. Now, let's say about 100 years ago or so, it
Mhm.
was still that way here in the United States. But now you have feminism, the new wave of feminism. And again, I'm not making any excuses, but what I am saying is I'm going by what I'm seeing and what's
Mhm.
happening, right? So that, yeah, like a guy, like, hey, if you a guy that could get chicks, you good. But now you have to understand, like, even average earners still have to have at least two or three more jobs to be above average, because average earners aren't getting it.
Right, but and that's the issue though. It's like it's not about the earning. That how much you earn has nothing to do with if a woman's going to respect you or submit to you. Absolutely nothing.
In
This is
in
what
in the West, yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. My fault. Go ahead, bro.
no, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that okay, for like what for example, right?
Yeah.
There are, you know, like I had a friend who he used to do this. So this dude was broke, right?
Hmm.
And what he would mainly do is he would actually get a lot of his money and the resources from the women he was dating, right? But he didn't, he had like a part-time job. He was getting money from men or whatever. And these same women were in relationships with men who had money. So what I'm saying is, who was she submitting to? She was submitting to the broke dude. Why? Because that broke dude was leading her. You see what I'm saying? She was submitting to him because she saw him as a man, whereas she saw the other guys as just males with money. This is what I'm trying. This is what I try to get guys to understand is like it's not just about the money. Money is a tool to be used as a resource, of course, right? For particular things, but that does not make a woman want you. A lot of guys think because they have money or they earn more money that they're entitled to a woman being submissive. And that's not the case. So when guys are confused as to why women aren't submissive, they're like, well, I got all this money. How come they're not submitting to me? See, back in the day when it was harder, or I should say, it wasn't as common for women to be working like there are now, some women would quote unquote submit or be in the house with that man and be that wife and all that other stuff because she had to. She needed him. Now that women don't necessarily particularly need you for money in the specific cases, they'll still use you for money. Don't get it twisted, but they don't need you for money. So since they don't need you for money, then like, okay, well, I can choose a guy that I'm attracted to for real. I can choose a guy that I really want to be with. I can choose a guy I'm sexually attracted to. So if you're not that guy, guess what's going to happen? They're not going to submit. They're going to give you a hard time. They're going to give you attitude. So I do agree with you that there's women, a lot of women in the West who will do that to a lot of guys out here. I totally agree with you. But the reason why is because those guys are not the guy that the women want to submit to. Because I ask you this question. What is it that because this is the thing, there are women in the West submitting to men. What are those men doing to get the submission? Right? Because the women submitting to somebody, right? They're submitting to some of these guys. So what are these guys doing that the other guys aren't?
Well, what I believe what the guys are doing, and you're right, it's not just strictly a money thing, but what I will say is that money is a part of it. And so to answer your question, what I believe is that it has to be, a level of stoicism, financial resources, and also being resourceful. So, like, let's say you're an above average earner, but you are able to obtain resources and whatever it could be, for her career or whatever the case is. You're able to put her in the direction that's going to be able to help her out, right? You don't necessarily have to be six figures, but you do have to be resourceful, and you do have to have a level of stoicism, and you do have to have some money. Now, with the story where you mentioned the guy being broke, like, and I'm sure that happened, but let's be transparent, that's kind of an outlier story. Like, that's not the norm, you know what I mean? So the norm really is what I'm saying, where you have to have some sort of money. You have to have some sort of resources, and you also have to have a level of stoicism.
Yeah, but see, that's what you're this is exactly what you're saying. You're proving my point. It's not the norm, because the norm usually are the guys who are trying to equate their money or status or position in life to their feeling of entitlement to get women. That's the norm. So what I'm saying is the normal guy, right, is usually the guy that's having trouble with women. Why? Because he is not taking cues from the quote unquote outlier, because the outlier is the one who knows how to get women to submit. The outlier is the one who's the most attractive guy. So I tell guys, stop being like the norm, because the normal guys are going to have trouble. You see what I'm saying? Because the normal guys are doing what every other guy is doing, which is trying to use money to get women, is trying to get women to submit based off of his status or his money and all these other things. And what I'm saying is, you can't logic your way into attraction or submission. It doesn't work that way. And so what happens is that a lot of guys is like, I was talking about this other day on my show. I said, guys try to make it into the equation. They're like, okay, if I have my money, plus I'm a high value man, times the square root of, having high status, then that should equal I get women. And that's not how it works. You see what I'm saying? A woman is going to submit and respect you and be attracted to you based on her seeing you as a man she wants to submit and follow. You see what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is the normal guys, like what you're saying, those are the masses. So for example, if there was 100 dudes in a room, like if I went to a room of 100 guys, at least about 85% of those guys, which is 85 guys, would be the normal guys who have trouble with women. And those 85 guys, right? And those 85 guys, the reason why they have trouble is because it's not the women's fault. It's they don't know how to attract women. It's just like, for example, if I check this out, if a woman said to you, "Hey, Kings and Dreams, I'm having a hard time getting a guy to commit to me," would you say, well, that's these guys' fault, or would you say that she don't know how to keep a man? You would say she don't know how to keep a man, right?
Exactly.
Right. So if she don't know how to keep a man, why aren't we also saying it on the other side of the spectrum for men? Men don't know how to keep a woman. Men don't know how to attract women. Men don't know how to get women to submit. It's the same thing. That's what I'm saying.
No, I disagree. But for the time being, I want to get into this video because I know you and I, we could go back and forth on this one, man. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. But like, it's different for men than women, and I'll leave it there. But let's just continue with this video here. Hold on, let me read this super chat, guys. Also, we are 30 minutes past the hour. Please share and like this video. Also, make sure moderators, please drop Mr. Lucario's link and make sure that you guys all subscribe to his channel. And also, please keep it PC in the comments. I'm not looking at all of the comments, but Uncle Luke, he says this guy. It's all good.
Yes, I am that guy. I agree.
All right, let's go.
Understand this. The reason why women don't submit to these guys is because these guys don't actually have a program. They don't have a mission for the woman to submit to. That's what submission means. Submission.
We just talking about this.
Right.
Sub under the mission. What is your mission? What is your mission? If you don't have a mission, right, then she's not going to submit to you. If you don't have a program, she's not going to submit to you. If you don't actually have a direction where you're going, she's not going to submit to you. If you don't know how to lead, she's not going to submit to you. You see what I'm saying? It's not going to happen. All right, so let's continue this.
Now, this is not to say that you can't find them. All I'm trying to say is that it's quite difficult, according to many men in the Western world.
So he's saying it's not that you can't find submissive women, but it's difficult according to a lot of men in the Western world. Of course, it's difficult according to a lot of men in the Western world, because a lot of men in the Western world ain't got no fucking game. A lot of men in the Western world bitch and moan about women. A lot of men in the Western world don't know how to actually pull chicks. They don't know how to manage a situation. They don't know how to do none of this shit. You understand what I'm saying? And that's why they're saying that. But let's continue.
Now, I don't mean to be the kind of guy who stereotypes people, but we're going to have to talk about some of those stereotypes. And, let's just be honest. Black people in general typically have better rhythm. Typically, they are more athletic. That's just the stereotype that blacks have. It doesn't mean that it is right, but when you look at the NBA, you look at the NFL, you look at even soccer, you see a lot of blacks. When you look at musicians that dance the best, who do you think about? We rarely say, Elvis Presley, right? You can dance, but you look at people like Michael Jackson, James Brown, Chris Brown. It's not as much of a stereotype as we may say. And when we look at Asians, we look at them as being more fastidious. They pay attention to detail. They're smart. They're intelligent. Is every Asian like that? Most likely not. But we do know that Asians on average are very productive as a group. We see that in their development shows. You ever heard of South Korea, China, Singapore, Japan? Yes, we all have heard of Honda or Canon. And if you're in South Korea, Samsung, LG. Yeah, that's because Asians are very good at those things. Now, when it comes to the dating world, we look at it almost the same. Asian women are very submissive on average. Black women, not as submissive on average.
Let me tell you guys something. I've never in my life dealt with black women and had a problem with them because they're black. And what I mean by that is that when I deal with women, women are fucking women. And then you're going to have women who are going to cooperate with you, and you're going to have women who aren't going to cooperate with you. No matter what race, ethnic background, all that other shit. You're going to have women who cooperate with you and women who don't. The problem is that when a lot of black men talk about, man, these black women have, it's hard to, they're not cooperating. They're not submissive. They're, they got attitudes and all that other stuff, right? Now, what they're saying is not incorrect, but guess what? The reason why it's not incorrect is because they're saying it, which means the guys who are saying it are the guys who women don't find attractive. So if I'm a black guy and women don't find me attractive and I mostly talk to black women, then what do you think my experience is going to be? My experience is going to be a lot of black women who are not submissive and who don't cooperate. But the reason why they're not submissive and they're not cooperating is because I'm not attractive. You see?
All right,
Man.
so let's stop that right there. Right now,
This guy Macario has a point, though. I'm just saying because.
All right, so all right, now you mentioned the difference. Like, I understand what you're saying. Like, if you're a black guy and most of your interactions have been with black women, and you have not been, you can't get a woman or whatever. I get that. Now, but my pushback on that is kind of what I had mentioned earlier in the beginning of the stream. And what my pushback about that is the fact that, and I don't necessarily want to bring it to just race, but we're going to talk about race in this particular instance, where there are some black women that are just like, they believe that black men belong to them, but they believe they don't belong to black men. What say you?
Mm-hmm. Well, the reason why that happens is, black women generally are in situations where most is like, you have a lot of black women who are only attracted to black men, and you have a lot of black women who only want to get with black men because mostly only black men want to get with them. You understand? So they don't have other races of men who's like trying to beat down the door. You feel what I'm saying? So it's a thing where either they're only attracted to black men mainly, or they feel that they can only get, black men, or they just mainly get black men who holler at them.
Why is that?
You said why do they only get black men that want to holler at them?
Yes.
Yeah, usually they only get black men that want to holler at them because, well, one situation is because of white supremacy. We ain't got to get into all that. But two, what happens is that you have a lot of black women who, for example, they might have a certain body type, which is more, thick to fat. You feel what I'm saying? Which is encouraged. So that encouragement causes more women to look that way, and therefore you have a lot of guys from other races who may not necessarily be into that. If you notice, you have black women who are, let's say, who are on the more fit side, right? Mm-hmm. Who have no trouble like attracting men of all races and all types of ethnicities and all that other shit. You feel what I'm saying? But that's the reason why you would have black women who are champion for black guys. A lot of times, either they are really just attracted to black men mainly, or they feel that black men are the only type of guys that is going to want to deal with them. Even, for example, heavier set white women will be attracted to a lot of black men because black men like more thicker chicks, and those guys will, basically approach those type of women. You feel what I'm saying? So they'll start to say, "Oh, I really like black men. I'm into black men." They can be into black men, but part of them being into it is because they feel they have no choice but to make that happen. And so what happens is that when you're in a situation where you feel like you have no choice but to date a certain type of person, then that's what, you feel like you start to say, well, I prefer this. You feel what I'm saying? And then it's not necessarily that you prefer it all the way. It's just that you feel you have no choice but to prefer that. Does that make sense?
Oh, I know, absolutely. I love the way you said it. You said it very PC. You said it very PC. I got you. I mean, and I agree. I agree with that to a certain extent. I also what I would like to add is that with the shape of some of our sisters, you also have, and again, I'm not saying all, but there is a portion where is that like they tell you what they're not going to do. You know what I mean? And they jump into that. Now, also, I agree that there are a majority. I don't want to say majority, but yeah, I'll say a majority. There's a majority of men that don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to lead. They don't know, they don't know how to be in control of the situations, right? And not being controlling, but actually being in control. Two different things, because I see some guys that try to do like that try to take control, and it's like, you don't need to take control if you are already in control. And so I can see it from that standpoint, and as far as like the heavier white woman saying that she, that she'll date black guys because she doesn't really have a choice, I agree with that too. But I do think that the add-on is with our sisters. Some of them are taught basically like, you don't need a man, and school is your priority, work is your priority, and then when you got all your priorities in her mind in order, and then she wants the man, and then it's like, well, why do I want to deal with you when you got all this masculine energy when I can deal with a nice 24 25-year-old? You know what I mean? Like, who's going to be on my program? And not just the sisters, but this is all women. And then he's like, hey, I could go abroad and have that too.
Well, you got to understand, all of that is a front. See, this is the thing. A woman can switch on or be what she needs to be to get what she wants. Right. So this is part of what submission is the reason why she's even a woman is submitting to a man is because she gets a benefit out of that man. Right. So the same way where, okay, for example, you might have, let's use a stereotype of the black girl with the attitude. Right now, let's say you got a black girl with the attitude. She's a cute black chick or whatever. And she has an attitude with Tyrone. But then next thing you know, when Brad comes around, she's like, very pleasant, very submissive, very nice, right? Where did the attitude go? Soon as Brad came around, has this nice, warm attitude, warm, pleasant energy, right?
Yeah.
So it's not that she has an attitude, it's just that she chooses who to have an attitude with and she chooses who to cooperate with. So the same thing happens for when guys are going overseas and stuff. Those women are choosing to not have an attitude with you because you're American. You see what I'm saying? Talk to the guys who live in the country. They're gonna be like, you understand? They're not gonna have the same conversation that you're having because they're not American. You see what I'm saying? So you're gonna have some guys over there where you're going that they live over there. They're having the same problems that the guys are having in America. And it's just about who the woman chooses to act like when she wants something from that guy. So this is what I'm saying, where if you're a masculine man who a woman sees as a leader and sees as the guy she wants to follow, she will submit. You see what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying, where her reaction and her behavior is a direct correlation to how she sees you as that guy. You see what I'm saying? So if you are that guy, then women will treat you that way. They'll treat you a way where they're pleasant, they're cooperative, all that other stuff. So it's not a thing where, man, all of these women are acting this way. No, they're acting this way because, like you said, there's a bunch of normal guys who don't, understand what the hell they're doing.
Right. No, I hear you. I hear you. All right, guys in the chat. I'll definitely read the super chats. Just make sure that you guys are keeping the comments respectful. As long as you know that this is my channel, and please respect the guests, because if you're disrespectful to the guest, that's being disrespectful to me. You know what I mean? So you can always disagree with the guests, get your point across, but let's make sure that we keep in the comments respectful. Shout out to Black Nubian for the Canadian $2. I appreciate that. And let's see, what does that say? MDZ 1986. Thank you for the $5 super chat. All right, so he says that Lucario, I think this is a topic that you should keep discussing because you're biased and will never be honest of the state of affairs in the United States. Okay,
That's
see,
funny,
that's a fair comment. I'm sorry, yeah, my fault. Yeah, that's a good super chat right there, because like, hey, you disagree and you kept it cool. All right, now what's your response to this one?
No, that's the thing. I am being honest. But the thing is, see, this is what he wants me to say. He wants me to say, man, the women out here are have an attitude. They're not submissive. So this is why guys in the West need to go overseas. Right now, me saying that is actually true, but I've been said that the whole time. I said that the normal guys who don't have game are going to get attitude from women. This is what I'm saying. I'm telling them the truth. And the guys who have game, who women are attracted to, who women respect, are gonna get women who submit to them. I said both sides of the coin. You're gonna have one guy over here who's gonna get attitude from women. You're gonna have another guy over here who's not gonna get attitude from women. The guy who gets attitude from women, his game is weak. The guy who doesn't get attitude from women, he has tight game. That's the truth. I'm talking about both sides of the spectrum. You see what I'm saying? Like, but dude, see, the thing is this: when you are living one side of the spectrum, you don't understand the other side of the spectrum. So then what happens is when I'm speaking on the other side of the spectrum, it sounds like I'm lying or I'm not being real because that's not your experience. You see what I'm saying? Right. So for example, if I told a guy who has a hard time getting girls, if I say, yo, dude, most of the time when I meet women, I have sex with them on the first date. He's going to be like, that's bullshit, Locar. You can't have sex on the first date. You got to take a girl out on 3 dates and you got to wine and dine her. Yes, that's his experience. But when you're talking to somebody else who has better game, that's their experience. So of course it's going to sound like, what I'm saying? Like I'm lying or I'm not telling the truth, because from your perspective, you can't relate. That's how it works.
Yeah, no, I got you. All right, so let's finish this video because I super chats are piling in now, man. All right,
let's keep them going. Keep the super chats going. Let's get that.
Oh yes, absolutely.
I want you to get all them super chats.
You see how that works? It's the same thing when you go over to the white dudes, right? Back in the day, there was a company called RSD, Real Social Dynamics. Some of y'all might know them, right? They still do certain things nowadays, but I think they do like more self-help stuff or whatever. But there was a company called RSD, Real Social Dynamics, where they would teach guys about, talking to girls, picking up girls, all that other stuff, right? most of their clients was white guys. You understand? There was a lot of white guys. Now they had guys from other races and all that too, but it was a lot of white guys, right? You had the MGTOW movement. The MGTOW movement was a bunch of white dudes talking about, oh, we're going our own way. These women over here, blah, 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 all that other stuff. You have a lot of dudes in the red pill who are white guys, right? Complaining about women. So it's not just oh, well, these black women this and black women that. It's a man-woman thing at the end of the day, meaning, and I wouldn't even say man, I say male. So it's a male-woman thing. It's these guys over here who don't have any fucking game, right? Complaining about how women are treating them. But the reason why women are treating them that way is because they ain't got no fucking game. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this is really simple. It's really simple. You're not attractive, you get this type of treatment. If you were attractive, you'd get different type of treatment. Make sense? Let's continue.
And that is where the passport bro community comes into place. Because now with these stereotypes, we can kind of somehow get a hypothesis. Doesn't mean that it's right, but we can go there. And most black men have decided that, you know what, dating in America is not the right thing for me to do. Let me go and deal with some women overseas, or bring a woman overseas, possibly from Asia, who's going to be more submissive. And then, well, sometimes theories don't always hold place. And I'm going to talk about this one lady by the name of KK 31387. She's an Asian woman that grew up in the United States. And we're going to see if she's submissive. Let's play that clip.
So I know a lot of these passport bros, and especially black men, are in my comments asking me why I'm talking about this. It's not my fight. And before anything, I'm a woman, so I'm always going to stand up for women regardless of race. And one thing that really bothers me about this is these same passport bros are the men who probably tried to hit on me in the US before they realized that we don't like them either. I'm from a town that really doesn't have that many Asian women, especially Asian women who look like me. Like I said, you guys, I'm adopted. I grew up in a white family in the Midwest, so I have no beauty standards from South Korea. I'm a thick woman. I weigh about 165 pounds. I'm 5'5", so honestly, the brothers like to holler, and they still do. Regardless of what some men in the comments are trying to say, that black men aren't checking for Asian women. Yeah, right. Check my DMs. But anyway, pretty much every time I met a black man, he thought it would be a flex to say something like, yeah, I like my women foreign. I like my women exotic. And
you see, dudes ain't got no fucking game. See,
Hey, dude, you got to give me that. You got to give me that sound thing, man. That thing
Hold
is
up, the price is right. Son, I'll send you a link to that joint. You can download.
Oh man. Yeah. I mean, now I don't think most men really necessarily care about like the foreign per se, because I mean, like there's a lot of brothers who are in the continent of Africa, and really what they want is just the cooperation. I mean, I'm sure, like, you know, like seeing like a thick Asian like her, you know what I mean? They probably think it's a flex like that, depending on where you live, because there's certain places where you don't really see that many like Asians who have bodies. You know what I mean? Like if you're around like, you know, if you're around like Asians that are like, you know, Korean or stuff like that, like, but like me, like around where I live, I see Cambodian women, and Cambodian women are mad thick, so I'm used to seeing that. But I'm sure, and where she's at in the Midwest, they probably just used to seeing thick white girls, so they like, oh, I see a thick Asian, you know what I mean? Whatever. Most importantly, to what she was saying, I think from what I understand, man, like she seems as though she just really wanted to jump into the fight and try to defend women, but not really trying to understand why that is. Why are the men saying what they're saying? Of course, I get it. She wants to be an advocate for women, but why are these men saying what they're saying?
Yeah, that's again, it all boils down to what position and situation you're in. You know what I'm saying? And if you're aware of why things are happening the way they're happening. So the whole problem with all this is this, right? Is as a man, right? Anything that you're doing, you know, when it comes to you dealing with women, right? It has nothing to do with the women. And what that means, and that's why I talk about this on my channel all the time. I said the game is not about women, it's about you. So what I try to tell guys is that, you know, the whole conversation about why are women doing this and why are women doing that, I never really asked why women are doing anything. And the reason why I never ask why women are doing anything is because I don't look to the woman for anything, meaning that I know that I'm the one who creates all situations that I have to deal with in my life. So okay, asking why a woman does something, you know, in relation to me, would be basically the same thing as, like, you know, saying like, I don't know, why did the delivery guy ring the bell instead of knocking the door? Like, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter to me. All that matters is what I'm doing in my situation. And any woman that I take on in my life, right? All that matters is she following my lead? Because if she is, then none of this matters. It's not going to be of any consequence to me. So when you're saying, for example, well, you know, Western women do this and Western women do that and Western women are acting this way, right?
Yep.
They're not going to act that way towards me because I would never deal with them if they were acting that way. You see what I'm saying? The situation with a lot of guys is that y'all are trying to get the women who are acting that way, and y'all are not realizing why they're acting that way. So if you're constantly running into women who are acting that way towards you, the common denominator is you. This is why I keep trying to tell you guys. You see what I'm saying? The common denominator is you. Yeah. It's not the women. And I know it's hard for guys to hear or understand, because I know, oh, look, Harry, you don't understand. It's the West and social media changed the game and women out here. Like, I hear it all the time. I know. But I just want you guys to understand that at the end of the day, until you realize it's you, you're going to keep having the same problems. That's what I want guys to understand.
I mean, that right there. I mean, come on, man.
Like, I'm telling you. Okay. Let me ask you. Name me a situation. Name me a situation that involves a man and a woman, and it's her fault instead of his. Tell me. I'll wait.
A situation. Okay. All right. So here's the situation.
Where a man is involved with the woman, meaning this is his girl, the girl he's dealing with, the girl he's dating, the girl he's trying to fuck, not a random girl he walked by on the street. I'm talking about like a woman he's trying to get with or got with and made something happen with.
And where it's her fault?
Yeah, tell me how it's her fault. Like, give me a scenario.
Okay. All right. So here's a perfect situation. Perfect situation is like, he comes home from work. And the house isn't clean.
Mm-hmm.
The house isn't clean, right?
Right.
And so she's the housewife. She may have like hobbies on the side or whatever the case is, you know. But the house is supposed to be clean. This particular night, the house wasn't clean. Right. The house is clean all the time. You know what I mean? This particular night, the house wasn't clean. That's her fault. Now, what I will say, because I believe that you're trying to pigeonhole me somewhere, and it's all good. But I know what you're about to get at, right? Because he should be in a position to make sure that she's doing this all the time, right? And which is true. So this is why I was saying that she's consistent with doing that, but that particular day is her fault because she was not consistent with doing her job. Okay, and
what? Give me the reason why she didn't do it.
Oh, I mean, this is your scenario, bro.
I'm saying I want to know the reason, because you're saying it's her fault. So what? Give me a reason.
All right. So
I'm trying to make it more.
Okay. All right. So
I'm trying to give you a chance to make it her fault.
okay, well, let's just say this particular day she didn't feel like it. Monday through Saturday, house is clean,
Right.
right? You know, this particular Sunday, she's like, hey, you know what? Like,
She's like,
I,
fuck it, I don't feel like doing this shit.
yeah, like I don't feel like
Yeah.
doing it. I'm watching my stories. I'm chit chatting on the phone with Susie and them, whatever the case. Whatever the fuck.
Right.
So right. So that's her fault.
No, that's not.
Because
That's the guy's fault. I'll tell you why.
okay.
So you said that this is his woman, right? Like his wife or his girlfriend or something like that, right?
Yeah. That's his woman. Yeah.
Right. So it's his fault because he put a woman in a position. He put her in position as girlfriend and wife, meaning he made her his girlfriend or wife without vetting her to see if she's going to be the type of woman who cleans or does what she needs to do as much as he wants her to do it within the week. And so what happens is when you have game, what you do is a thing called vetting. What you do is when you vet a woman, you teach her how to be with you before you give her a title. So what a lot of guys do is they give a woman a title before they vet her, which means that they just give her the title because she's cute or she, they want to keep having sex with her or whatever. So then they make her the girlfriend or wife. And then what happens is he wants, in his mind, he's like, man, I want her to clean up. But what happens is that she might clean up once or twice, but she's not doing it the way he wants. And the reason why she's not doing it the way he wants is because he's never told her that in order to be his girl, in order to have the commitment, she has to do these things and has to do it over an extended period of time. So what happens is when you vet a woman, you teach her how to be your girlfriend or wife over extended period of time. Within that over extended period of time, what you're doing is that you're creating a system and a conditioning so that she knows this is what needs to happen. So before she can even become a girlfriend or wife, which is a position that she's trying to get, you will know that she is the type of woman who's going to do these things. So if a guy is in a relationship with a woman and she's just not doing it because she just ain't feel like it, that means that he didn't properly vet her. And so therefore that is his fault. Do you see what I'm saying? So if you would have said, this is why I asked you why she's not doing it, because let's say she was just sick and she was in the bed and she can't do it because she's sick in the bed. But if she's like, well, I just don't feel like it, that means that she just decided to go against his leadership, to go against his program, which means she decided to not be submissive to him, right? So basically he gave her a title without her being vetted. And so therefore that's his fault. So that's what I'm saying, where all these things that guys are worried, because I saw even in the super chat, it was one of the super chats where the guy was like, because I got to go in like 10 minutes. So I don't want to ignore the super chats, but Uncle Luke 1980, he said, no, that's not the one. It was one before that. I think somebody was talking about if you get them pregnant. I think it was Black Nubian or something like that.
Hold on, let me go to it. Black Nubian. Okay, this one?
Right. Yes. Yeah, this one. So that's the guy's fault. You feel what I'm saying? He doesn't even understand this.
Hold on. So before I read the super chat, now I just want to go back to what you were saying in reference to the vetting process, because I completely understand the vetting process and things of that sort. Like, and so this is why in the scenario why I was saying like that this woman has been consistent over a period of time, right? Where she's been she's been cleaning the house, taking care of inside of the home. She's been doing that consistently. But one day she said that she didn't feel like doing it. And let's say she's been doing it consistently for 3, 4, 5 years, whatever, right? So that one day that she says that she doesn't feel like doing it, that is still her fault because she has laid a level of consistency. So that man has told her, hey, listen, this is what I expect out of you because this is what you should expect out of me. I'm taking care of outside of the home. You're taking care of inside of the home. So Monday through Sunday, this home is clean, right? 3, 4, 5 years in, now this one particular Sunday, let's just call it a Sunday. One particular Sunday, she happens to not clean the house because she doesn't feel like it. That is her fault. Now, what you were saying prior to, now, if the woman is stagnant, then yes, that's the guy's fault because you have not installed a level of you have not voiced what you want your consistency level to be. And when you don't do that, and then if she says, hey, I don't feel like it, and she says, hey, I cleaned the house 2 weeks in a row, and then I'm going to take a week off. No, then that is your fault because you are not properly vetting this woman. That is a level of inconsistency. Why I was saying I named that one misnomer, that is her fault. There's a difference between what I was saying and what you're saying, because what you're saying is absolutely right. Well, what I'm saying is right as well.
So you're saying that if she was doing it for 3 years and then one day she was just like, I don't feel like it, that's her fault.
Yes.
Yeah, but the thing is, the likelihood of that happening is like zero to, it's like it's the reason why is because what happens is that with the vetting process, it's consistency which creates a habit. And what happens is that it takes at least 30 to 60 days to break a habit. So there's no way in the world she's doing this shit all the time and then all of a sudden she just don't. You see what I'm saying? That's the point of the vetting, is to create the habit so that won't happen. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no. And I feel you, and I think that we're both saying the same thing, just from two different perspectives. But read this super chat if you don't mind.
Yes, it says, attitude or not, let him get one of them pregnant or have a divorce. Wonder what his opinion will be when child support and alimony gets into his pockets. Well, see, again, that's the dude's fault. I'll tell you why. First of all, if you get a woman pregnant, right, that's your fault because you have the sperm. You pushed your seed into this woman, right? So if she gets pregnant and has a kid, that's on you, first of all, because she can't get pregnant without your seed. That's just simple logic, right? Now, what happens is that if you're the type of guy who has little to no influence over his woman, you are going to be the type of guy that's going to be, all up in the whole child support, alimony, and be all in your pockets because that woman doesn't respect you. I know a lot of guys who are not with their wives anymore who have kids, and they're not being dragged in court for child support, none of that. And the reason why is because they had a conversation with that woman. And when they had a conversation with that woman, they came to a certain agreement. The reason why they were able to have that conversation and come to agreement with that woman is because they knew how to have a relationship where they have influence over that woman. And why? Because that woman was submitting to his program from the jump. So she trusts and respects him. What happens is a lot of guys get dragged into court and they go through all of this nonsense because they're getting women pregnant that don't respect them, that don't like them, that don't really see them as a man. So therefore, she doesn't care about you. And this is why she's going to drag you through the ringer. And if that happens, again, that is your fault for getting a woman pregnant who doesn't respect or like you. You see what I'm saying? This is what it always goes back to. This is why I said it's about the man. So when dudes are complaining about women, right, you're talking about shit after the fact. Your complaints about women is a direct reflection of you. This is what guys don't get.
I understand that to a certain degree, you know what I mean? But you do have to admit that there is a level of absurd hypergamy in the West where this guy could be doing everything right. But the thing is that society still has modern women thinking that, that they have more options than what they really have. Now, what you're saying
what is him doing everything right though?
Hold on. So okay. So let me just kind of wrap this in a bow. Well, what I'm saying is what you're saying is right because it is a reflection. It is a reflection of the men, and I will say that more men need to take more. I'm sorry. More men need to start taking accountability for that. I agree with that. Now, to add on to that, there is the level of society where society makes the woman think, hey, you know what, like I don't need this and I don't need that. Now the men should not be buying into it because in reality there's actually more women than men, so we're actually the pick of the litter. But again, that is a problem for men, but it's also a problem for women as well. So what I'm saying is that like there's there's blood on both sides here.
Well, I want to know what you mean. The guy's doing everything right, and then hypergamy kicks in.
Oh, okay. What I mean by the guy's doing everything right. So he's being a protector, he's being a provider, he's being a leader, right? He's doing all of the things that should be required of a man in a relationship and or marriage, right? So what I'm saying is that with this gentleman doing all of these things that is deemed correct in society eyes, you know, the woman, you know, the woman is still either the woman is still not being cooperative. The woman is still not doing what she's supposed to do on her end, but he's doing what he's supposed to do on his end. Let's
Right.
not act like that doesn't happen, bro.
No,
You know
it does happen, but this is the part that people don't get.
Yeah.
He's doing all those things, but he's not doing the most important thing, which is being a man. So you having money, protecting, providing, and all of that, that's cool because society's telling you to do it. But what happens is that if you're not a man who she looks to and respects,
Yep.
then this is because even, for example, the hypergamy concept, right? Of, you know, a woman, you know, marrying up or dating up or jumping from this guy to the guy who has more, right? Think about the concept of this woman's going to leave this guy for the guy who has more money or the guy who has more of this. Now, if you think about it, can a man be more kings and dreams than kings and dreams? No. Can another man be more Lucario than Lucario? No. So what happens is that when the woman is dealing with us as men, there's no such thing as hypergamy because she can't get a better me. She can't get a better you. There's only one of me and one of you. But she can definitely get a guy who has more money than us. She can definitely get a guy who has a bigger house or a fancier car. But the reason why she will jump to the other guy with the bigger house or the fancier car is because she never liked the guy she's with in the first place. Therefore, because she doesn't love, respect that guy and is attached to the man, it's easier for her to get someone who has more money because the guy she's with now, she's only with him because of his money. She's only with him because of his car. She's only with him because of his house. So if she finds the bigger house, the more money, the better car, of course she's going to jump to the next man because she don't respect who you are. That's what I keep trying to tell y'all guys. So he's not doing everything right. He's doing everything right in the eyes of society, but he's not doing everything right in the eyes of himself. He's not actually doing right by him. And that's why the women don't respect him. You see what I'm saying? And that's why she's going to be hypergamous and jump to the next man because she doesn't see you as a man. That's how it works.
There's a level of truth to that, but you know what I mean? Like now there has to be a level of where I got to hold your feet to the fire here. And one of the things that I will say is that like with the guy doing everything right, he can still be a man, and the woman will still be uncooperative. Again, I'm talking about in the West. This is why men of means, value, looks, men who are masculine men in frame go abroad and say, you know what, like, okay, I can get a woman here, I can get a woman there, whatever the case is, but I'm gonna take my talents overseas. Now, for me, I haven't had issues with women, and coming from one of the you know, one of the most challenging cities, if you will, when it comes to getting women, New York City. You and I both know, bro. You and I both know. You know what I mean? Like, yo, like, so for me, I'm like, hey, listen, like, yo, I went to the playoffs, I won the championship. So basically I'm going abroad, like, it's easy.
Well, of course it's gonna be easy because you already could get women. That's what I'm saying. Like, see, is one thing if you see, I always said this. I said, you know, somebody asked me my opinion on dudes paying for sex, right?
Yeah.
And I said, a guy, and even like jerking off and watching porn or whatever. So this is how I look at it.
Yep.
I look at it like the only guys who should pay for sex are guys who don't need to pay for sex. The only guys who should be really watching porn is the guys who don't need to watch porn. So what that means is that if you have to pay for sex in order to get sex, you shouldn't be paying for sex because you need to learn how to get sex without paying. If you need to watch porn to get some sort of sexual release because you can't get a woman, you should not be watching porn. You need to take your ass out there and learn how to get women. You feel what I'm saying? So you can't afford to do these things because you don't know how to get these things without putting up the money, because then that's a handicap for you. You see what I mean? So my issue is with the guys who they can't get it unless they do these things. Like, they have to do these things or else they're going to be shit out of luck. You feel what I'm saying? So I agree. And you know,
And guys, hold on really quick, guys. Please send your last super chats. I believe Lakara has like
Yeah, I
5
gotta
minutes
go in
left.
like 5 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have a question, please send it in the super chat. Thank you so much. But yeah, so what I was gonna say is that no, I agree with your last statement 1,000%, because what's happened is that, and I've mentioned this before, where the social media, it's a gift and a curse, because it's a gift because, like, hey, you know what, you could see a chick from another state, another country, send a quick DM. It is what it is, right? You know what I mean? Whether it be Instagram, whether it be dating apps, whatever the case is, cool. Now the thing is that, like, it also has kind of stagnated some men, because they don't know how to be quick-witted and think on their feet. So this is one of the reasons why, like, for me, like, I'm 38, I'll be 39 in February, but like, I also come from the age before all of these dating apps and things like that. So like, when I was approaching women, speaking to women, courting women, like, it was face to face. Yeah, I did online too, but it was mainly face to face. So that's what really kept my mouthpiece sharp. You know what I mean? So like, I can tell the mannerisms. I can tell, like, hey, you know what? Maybe I need to say something different, steer the conversation in this way, and like, I always keep that wits about me. I've always kept that wits about me, because I can talk to a woman online, I can talk to a woman face to face, but some dudes are good with talking online, but when they get face to face, they don't know how to act or what to say, and then they're socially awkward.
Well, yeah,
So
that I mean, that definitely happens. You know what I mean? But that's what I'm saying. If they are that way, they need to learn how to value themselves. They need to learn how to talk to them. All these things they need to learn. This is what I teach guys, that they need to learn this stuff. And this is the thing, because there's going to be a time where you don't have the money, or you might not have the money, or there might be a time where you actually want a relationship, right? Because see, this is what happens. What happens when a guy actually wants a girlfriend or a wife, right? The thing is, even if you see, and this is the key thing, because I hear guys say, well, I smashed, so it don't matter. I got this girl, so it don't matter. It's not about you having a girl, having a wife, or smashing, right?
Yeah.
It's about, are you actually happy in your situation and in your relationship? And this is what happens when guys have weak game. You can get a girl with weak game. You can hook up with girls with weak game. You can have a wife with a weak game, with having weak game. The problem is, though, is that if you have weak game and you're having sex, usually most of your sex is coming from simping or tricking. So therefore, you never have sex with women who desire you. If you have weak game, if you have a girlfriend, what's going to happen is your girlfriend's going to be running the relationship, and you're going to be miserable. Same thing with your wife. This is why you hear guys talk about, oh, I had to sleep on the couch, and oh, I'm in the doghouse, and oh, my wife did. Like, it's because they don't have any game. They don't have any belief in themselves. They don't really see value in themselves. So therefore, the women don't see value in them. So what happens is that you have a lot of guys out there, because they have no game, they have to resort to having these type of situations and dealing with these type of interactions with women, because there's a difference between having sex with a woman who wants to have sex with you versus a woman who's having sex with you because you're paying her. There's a difference between having a wife who actually adores you and who actually is really, really feeling you, or a girlfriend who adores you and who's really, really feeling you, versus a girlfriend who's with you because she want to come to America, or because she's playing the role because she wants to have a boyfriend, but not particularly you. She just wants the title of girlfriend. All of these things matter in your actual enjoyment and fulfillment in your dating life and your relationships. So all of that stuff matters.
No, I agree. Like, for me, if guys, for me, like, I'm like this, guys. If you guys are doing, pay for play or whatever the case is, that's cool. What I would say is like this: like, if a guy has 10 numbers, 10 female numbers, in his phone, at least 7 of them should be genuine women who have a genuine attraction to him. And then if you have 3, you got 3 chicks or whatever, it's the end of the night, couldn't get nothing, whatever. Hey, you know what? Come, I need to release. Bet, I get it. But the overall the overall thing of what I'm saying is that the majority of the women in your phone should be genuine women who have a genuine attraction to you. Because for guys, when you just strictly are doing just pay for play and all of that stuff, you know what I mean? Like, it also can desensitize you because you don't know how to act in an actual genuine relationship. All you know is strictly transactional. Leave the money by the bedside. You know what I mean? Because it's like, you don't know if she really likes you for you or she just likes you for the money. So I definitely get that. But let me read these super chats while you're still here, because I definitely want to show respect to everyone who did donate. Oh boy, he said that you're misleading men. Guys, please be
No,
respectful.
he's right. I am misleading men, because when I tell guys to believe in themselves and I tell guys to see their value, I tell guys to stand on what they believe in. That's definitely misleading. I agree. But we can go to the next question.
No worries, no worries. Shout out to my man. Shout out to my man Ethan with the 10,000 Colombian pesos. That's not true. Chicks in Colombia aren't as rude as women in America. Been in Colombia for 9 months. Yes, yeah, that's true. Cause like, you'll ask the like with the locals. I mean, I have a spot in Medellin, Colombia. So like, I'm cool with all the locals there, mainly a lot of the locals there, and they just say the women are cool. They usually say the women from the US is they just different.
I mean, listen, I was in Hawaii the other day. All the chicks was cool as hell out there.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Hawaii,
that's America.
Hawaii, well, yes, Hawaii technically is in the United States, but when you're in Hawaii, you do not feel like you are in the United States.
I mean, that is true, but still,
I've been there. I thought I was in a different country, but I feel you. Let me get through this one. My man Steve says, if you open a woman. Oh, I think that's up. I think he meant to say up. If you open up to a woman and it was weak and you give off a weak vibe, then you can reopen later with a masculine vibe or change or have her
charge it to the game. I think it's
charge her to the game. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, usually you want to just charge it to the game, because how you start is how you finish. Your first impression is important. So if you come in at her weak and it's, you're all nervous and weird about it, and then all of a sudden you get the courage and muster up the courage and trying to holler at her. It's not that not saying that you can't get her, but what happens is that now your her perception of you is different. You understand? It's just like if I use this example in school. If you're in a school and you're getting bullied every week, right? You can't come next week and act like you're a tough guy. You understand? Like, they seen you as a weak guy that's getting bullied the whole few weeks. So you don't have to transfer to a new school, start over, and start strong. That's how it works.
I got you. Okay. All right. QB Passport Flexing says you can be masculine and strong, but she has to physically find you attractive to submit. Excuse me.
Oh no, you could pass that question, because he know I don't answer none of his questions, but you can keep going, because I don't talk to that guy.
Man, but you oh man,
I'm consistent. We're that's not that. Nah, I don't address that dude.
All right. Well, I'll
you can answer it if you.
Yeah, I'll just address it. So I mean, listen, right? I wouldn't necessarily say it's basic social skills, because like we say basic social skills, but like what does that mean? Because like I guess for me, when I think of basic social skills, it's not the social skills that people have nowadays. Because I think about it like how people communicate nowadays, and really it's mainly through text or whatever. It's all electronics. So it's not really a lot of face-to-face interaction. But I think what you're essentially trying to say is like, don't be socially awkward and be aware. But I will have to say, like, if you add some charisma to that, that's gonna help out a lot. All right. So Black Nubian says,
oh yeah, we already
we read that one. Sorry, I jumped ahead. Okay. Uncle Luke. Okay, so he says, to all my brothers out there who want to date overseas, do it if it makes you happy, regardless of what the detractors have to say. You work hard in life. Life is too short to be unappreciated.
I agree totally. I actually agree with that. My thing is, see, don't get it twisted. Y'all be thinking like I'm telling niggas don't go. No, go overseas, have your fun. I just don't act like you're doing the same thing as a player. That's all. That's my only situation with this. You know what I'm saying? Like, just don't compare yourself to guys who are actual players. Just don't do that. Other than that, do you? You know what I'm saying? Like, do your thing.
Why not though? I mean,
The reason why,
and again, for me, I'm just curious. Like, I'm just curious because for me, like, I've been traveling since I was 3 years old. So like before this whole passport bro movement like erupted, like I have been getting. I've been getting women overseas, you know what I mean? So like that's not been a thing for me. But like I will say this now, if a guy has a genuine baddie, you know what I mean? Like, and she's on his program and all of that, like why can't he, flex a little bit? You know what I'm saying?
no, what I'm saying is you could flex, but you can't flex like you're a player. That's what I'm saying. Like, so what I'm saying is it's like a person, if let's say you see an actor playing a doctor on TV. But then he says, I'm a real doctor. You're not a real doctor. Like, don't compare yourself to a real doctor. You're just playing one on TV. You didn't go to medical school. You don't know what it takes to be an actual doctor. So you're not a doctor. And that's fine. But just don't pretend or don't act like you're the doctor, because it's disrespectful to actual doctors who had to do what they done to get there, because real players have a certain type of knowledge that they had to acquire. So when you're trying to pretend to be that, that's disrespectful to an actual player. And so what I'm saying is that an actual player who has a baddie, right? What happens is that he got that off of the strength of the knowledge that he's gained being that player, versus if you're going somewhere else and either you're paying for it or you're simping or you're tricking or you're doing something else to get her. It's not the same. It's not the same situation. You see what I'm saying?
But I get it. Okay, so what if it's a genuine woman, like no GFE, no pay for play, whatever. This is a genuine woman. She has her own thing going on. She genuinely likes him for him. You know. So what say you to that? Because I understand the other references, like if you're like, hey, you know what, like yo, like this is a this is a pro. And it's like, yo, you can't be stunting with a pro when she just had like 5 dicks in her mouth, like, 20 minutes ago. I get it. But I'm saying now, if there is a regular chick who likes you for you, you know what I'm saying? This ain't no GFE or anything. This is an actual genuine woman, has her own thing going on. She's not on the street. You know what I'm saying? She really rocking with you. She's on your program. So is that still stunting?
Yeah, that's cool if you get her, but that doesn't mean you're a player though. Because again, see, the thing is this, right? Any dude could at some point fall into a situation where a chick he think is a really hot girl he stumbles upon. You feel what I'm saying? So but what I'm saying is that that's different than a guy who knows how to attract those type of women. You feel what I'm saying? And a lot of times what happens is that guy who stumbles upon that woman, in a lot of cases, the woman is running him, because why hasn't he been able to get that type of girl before? You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is that it's a thing where there has to be consistency in the situation. The fact that that's inconsistent means that he's not the type of guy that gets that. Because if he was the type of guy that gets that, then that wouldn't be like a big deal, because he would always get baddies. But the fact that that is a big deal shows that he hardly gets baddies. You see what I'm saying? So that's why it's a different thing. Whereas the player, he can consistently get that, which is why it's a regular thing for him. So you can't compare that guy to a guy who gets it regularly when this guy got it just randomly on some special occasion. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. So it's two different worlds. So what I'm saying is that if you're gonna do what you do it, but don't try to act as if you're doing it the same as somebody else doing it in this way. You see what I'm saying? It's just two different things. You can't compare and conflate the two, because one thing is like, I'm not gonna, if I go get liposuction right now and fucking get some steroid injections, I can't compare myself to a guy who's been in the gym for 5 days a week for 2 years banging it out. You feel what I'm saying? That's disrespectful to him and other people who do shit like that. That's all I'm saying.
I get what you're saying. So don't act like you true to this when you're new to this.
Right, exactly. That's all
I got you. I got you. All right. Yeah. Now Uncle Luke says, okay, let me be objectively fair as well. There are a lot of things that I agree with you on, Lucario, but not international marriage and dating. This is not your lane, brother. That's all. We agree to disagree.
He said international what? Is
Oh,
not the
sorry.
one?
Let me hold it up so you can read it.
So, but international marriage and dating is not. Well, that's interesting because I have a lot of clients who are from all parts of the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that wasn't the case, I wouldn't have clients in all these other countries, all these other cities. If that was the case, that's what I'm saying. Like, I have a bunch of clients that's all over the world that I coach one-on-one on Skype. You feel what I'm saying? And they come to me with a bunch of questions, a bunch of situations. Oh, my girl, my this and that. And they're from Brazil, they're from Germany, they're from Australia, they're from Sweden, they're from Colombia, they're from all over the place. You see what I'm saying? So it's the same. This is hard for guys to understand because remember, I'm coming from the perspective where I'm a teacher. So I'm teaching a wide variety of people who come to me with their issues. So when a person says, yo, Lucario, shit is way better overseas. And I'm like, well, why do I have all these clients overseas? You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's that, he's like, what the hell am I? Why are they calling me for? You feel what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
You know? Yeah, no, and I completely get it, man. I completely get it. Now I did have two more questions before I
I gotta make them quick because I gotta go in 2 minutes.
All right, two minutes. Now I wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts on now some of your coworkers? I don't know if you want to call them coworkers or coworkers or associates, if you will, like they're starting to get into the passport bro travel space, game, if you will, having that overseas. And I remember when I first started the Unity of the Manosphere series, guys, please check that out, shameless plug. But when I really did check that, started that series, I asked you, did you think that dating coaches were going to start to take their talents abroad? And it seems that they have. Now, what are your thoughts about specifically modern life dating? And I believe Donovan Sharp is actually getting involved in that as well.
Right. I think it's good, but I think they beat y'all to it though, man. I think that the guys who are the passport bros, y'all should have been on that. I've been said that. I said y'all motherfuckers need to be teaching these dudes about game overseas. Like y'all should have been doing that. So I say, hey, that's all good. But again, it still all stems back to game. It still all stems back to strategy. You see what I'm saying? So all MLD did and Donovan Sharp did was they took the whole passport thing and then sold it, which is what the passport bro should have did. You see what I'm saying? That I think y'all should have been the one spearheading that shit. You feel what I'm saying?
I agree. Now, what I will say though, like, I don't, my pushback is not the fact that they're actually like selling whatever, because I don't watch a man's pockets, and if you're able to make a profit, cool, bet, whatever, you know what I mean. My issue is that, like, and I don't know if it was MLD, because I know MLD has been living overseas for a while anyway, so I don't even think his word will count. But my issue is some of the dating coaches who were like talking about guys traveling overseas and saying, you guys, that's trash, blah, 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 blah. Now you jump into the game and it's like, all right, so it's like, yo, like, what, like, why not show that respect that why not show that respect before now? So this thing has blown up, and I get it. You can monetize and profit off of it. Not going to stop anyone's dollar, but it's like, yo, like, why the disrespect? Why the back and forth? Like, to me, that's the issue I have. And I'm not necessarily saying you, but I'm just saying like some of the associates, because there's some people who I'm cool with as well. You know what I mean? Dating coaches or whatever.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, that disrespect, like, to me, that shit wasn't cool.
Yeah, I think the whole thing was, again, like, I think just from my perspective, like I was saying, I think the whole thing stems from thinking that it's the same thing, which causes a lot of the rift. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there would be no conversation. You would never hear me say nothing about it if there was none of that, trying to lump it in together. Now, as far as, the other coaches that are doing that, you got to ask them. So I don't know exactly what their particular thing is. From me looking at it from the bird's eye view, I was just like, that shit is smart to be able to, because if you're teaching anything, and you have some knowledge on something, right?
Yep.
There's a certain part where you have to monetize it, because you only want to deal with people who are serious about it for the effort you're giving in to teach it. So I don't have no problem with that type of situation. But as far as, I don't know what everyone else has been saying about the whole Passport Bros thing, as far as like coaches or people who were, teaching some form of game, my only issue, particularly for me, was, like I said, was just to trying to combine everything. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, this is what you're doing here, do that. This is what we're doing here, we do that, and then that's that. Don't try to combine it. You know what I'm saying? To be, because it's like, that's like me saying, man, Passport Bros are doing what dating coaches are doing. It's like, nah, you're not. I'm not going to try to combine what I'm doing with what you're doing. That's not the same shit. You feel what I'm saying?
But now it seems as though like from what MLD and what Donovan Sharp are doing, it seems like they are trying to combine it though.
Oh, well, I don't know. All I thought was that, this is what I thought, because I heard about it, but I haven't really seen any of the material. I thought they were trying to teach guys how to have game overseas, like how to deal with the women. Right. So
but that's essentially a combination.
No. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is game is encompassed in everything. So what I'm saying is, I thought this is what I thought. So maybe I'm wrong. I thought what they were doing was saying, like, for example, MLD, I know he's in Japan. I thought what he was saying is, hey, I'm in Japan, I've been fucking with all these girls overseas, and this is the things that I do to get these women. That's what I thought he's doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
which is basically the same as coaching or dating coaching, but just putting a label of Passport Bro on it. It's basically the same shit. And you could say that's probably combining it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't really know what they're doing specifically.
Well, what you said. I mean, what you said is exactly how I see it, and exactly how it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I like, again, I don't fault anybody for doing that.
Right.
My only issue is that like there was disrespect and stuff like that. Like, again, I don't necessarily consider myself a Passport Bro because I've been traveling my whole life. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, but I also understand the importance of having game. That was one of the reasons why, like, I understand, I guess, both sides of it. And I just didn't like the disrespect, because it's like, yo, like why try to shit on a man who's trying, who wants to go abroad and wants to, live out his best life.
Yeah, I think it was probably more of the philosophy of combining philosophies that it was an issue. So I don't think like them trying to, again, I haven't seen it, but I don't think them trying to teach game about hollering at chicks there is the same as combining the philosophy, meaning that saying the philosophies are the same, which is not necessarily. But I would have to see at the back end. But I think you should definitely get a MLD and Donovan on here so they can.
I am. But like my question wasn't necessarily like, yes, I'm saying what they're doing, but like there was other people who actually had something to say as well. But I wanted to ask you, because what your opinion of it, because I know you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And and the thing is, I just, I teach game. So game is universal. You know what I'm saying? So
man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So either way, it is what
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. Listen, I just want to thank you, because I know that we were supposed to be on for an hour. We almost on for 2 hours, bro. So I appreciate that.
Yes,
but yeah, let the people know what you got going on, man, and let them know where they can find you, brother.
Yeah, just appreciate you having me again. Definitely appreciate you having me come through, and make sure you guys go to badboymembership.com, go to masculineidentitymembership.com, and go to mrlucario.com, because all of those .coms you can get my books, my programs. You get the membership program at badboymembership.com, which is 45 through 90-minute audio and video dating advice tutorials every month. And also check out the Game Kings seminars we got. We got the Vegas one coming out soon. We got the New York one that's already out. You can get at mrlucario.com, and hit me up on Instagram at @realmrlucario. All right. So yeah, man, appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, man. We got to do another one, man. Probably, before the end of this year, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, we can do a part 3, so we finally get through to that video.
I know, right?
All right.
All right, man.
All right, bro. Appreciate you, man. I'm holla.
All right, man. Peace. All right, guys. What's going on, man? Let's see here. So I'm gonna drop the link in here just in case if anybody wants to come up and kind of give their thoughts here. I do ask that you do cam up. I want everyone to cam up though. So if you guys want to pop up on here, definitely give your thoughts. Make sure you guys keep it respectful though. Got to keep it respectful, man. So I've dropped the link here and let's see what's popping. Oh, also, man, I also got to give a shout out to my homegirl Drell for the $10 cash app. I appreciate you for doing that, sister. Thank you so much for watching, and we gotta link up so I can bring you on my channel because I know you was supposed to come on here soon. I mean, at some point, but we gotta connect. So let me know whenever you want to do that, and we could do that. All right. So I'm gonna keep this thing open for like 5 more minutes in case somebody wants to pull up. If not, then I'll just shut it down and just watch this football game. Let's see. Let me go to some of these. I gotta read some of these comments anyway. Some of these comments. Get some music popping. Oh man, y'all had a lot of comments. He blocked QB. Yeah, well, yeah. I tried QB to see. I was gonna try to see if y'all could get on a debate together. But wow, every guy's not the same. Black Baja Taurus, what's up, brother? How you doing, man? If the guy is corny, still gets to smash, why does it matter? Azrael, man, what's up, man? I haven't seen you in here in a minute. How will Lucario know your passport is expired? Oh, when your passport expired, Obama was still in office. You wouldn't know what women are like in other countries. Facts. Why does it matter as long as you get laid? Where's Men's Lux magazine? Great topic. Salute my brother. Lucario, authentic dating coach in the house. Antonio Wing Chun. Let's see. Fat John 911 says hello. These guys are bugging. Salute to the host, Lucario and April. Thank you so much. Nice glass. I appreciate you. The problem with Lucario is he underestimates the power of culture and upbringing. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to necessarily say that he underestimates it, but that was something I wanted to talk more about, but I knew that we had limited time, so yeah, I'll try to figure out something where like we could like go on for a couple of hours there. Let's see. It matters because you have to hold on. It matters because if you have to run, oh, hold on. Who is this? This Azrael? Hey, do me a favor, just cam up in the back. I see you. All right. What's up, bro?
Long time no see. How's it going, bro?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you for watching, man. So what are your thoughts, bro?
I'll be honest with you. I missed half of it because I was gonna go order food, but I know the tenets of Lucario's opinion, right?
Yeah.
My thing is, let's break it down. If women are all the same everywhere, why is it that divorce is so high in America?
Right. Well, that was one of the things that I had spoken to him about. I don't know like what you heard or what you didn't hear, because I know you said that you had some things that you have to do. But one of the things that I had mentioned to him was the fact that like we have this wave of feminism, and then also the fact that it gives women the entitlement, right? And so this is why guys are being turned off and going abroad because like now the guy, he can have resources, he can be a leader, he can be protector, be provider, he can basically have all of his stuff together. But like this woman, she could all of a sudden one day not want to follow his lead anymore, and then I also mentioned the fact that culture does play a big issue to where, like outside of the West, the men are put as head of household, right? And so, not to be too long-winded, but I'm just trying to give you a synopsis, right? So then I also said that, like, because he mentioned that in the West, where the women are working and things like that, but I said, like, hey, outside of the West, a woman could be working and come home and still fulfill her womanly duties. You know what I mean? Like my ex is a nurse. She would work 12 hours, come home, cook, clean, and whatever. You know what I mean? No issue.
And that leads. I'm glad you said that. That leads into my next topic, right?
Sure.
I was watching Rollo Tomasi yesterday, actually. A little bit of his clips. He had on, the guy that was on. He did the soft white underbelly interview. That was a lawyer. He was talking about. You heard about that interview? It was like a big interview with the lawyer, and he was talking about why marriage is not a good deal for men.
I heard about it, but I have not seen that interview.
Okay, long story short, he was on Rollo Tomasi's panel yesterday, and they were discussing how if a man puts a post on Facebook and says, I love to fulfill my husbandly duties, everyone is going to praise him. Everyone will say that's a real man. Everyone will say that's what a man needs to be. If a woman says, I love to fulfill my wifely duties, they're going to call her pick me. They're going to call her a slave. They're going to call her all types of degrading things. Now, here's the thing. And these women are going to say this.
Right.
Women are bashing other women for catering to men. Now, you can say, okay, you can surpass game with that, right? But if the culture in of itself is anti-male, the fact you can have decent women, if her friends see that you're catering to her,
right,
or if her family, or if her mom has issues with men, or the woman in her family have issues with men, and she's trying, the culture is going to over-influence whatever game or whatever masculinity that you think you can put upon this woman. And this is why I say this, what Knight and Bishop says, this disingenuous. You cannot outgame culture. You cannot outgame socialization. I come from 3 generations of baby mamas myself, in terms of my family.
Right.
At a certain point in my life, I could have been the most ideal man, or I can meet the most ideal woman. That doesn't mean that I'm going to be a quality man, because based over my background and how I've been influenced and how I've been raised, that is going to be the underlying factor. The woman could be the most feminine possible, but if I'm not built to be masculine, if I'm not built to be a leader,
right,
it's not going to work out. And it's the same with women. And this is my thing about what Knight is saying is true. Lucario's disingenuous because the last time that he was with you and Austin, he said that woman will be feminine for the right guy. Femininity is not an on and off switch. I don't know if you grew up with your mom or how your mom was. If your dad wasn't around, she didn't just start to go in and behaving like a man.
No, no. Well, so my father died when I was young, but yeah, I grew up with both. Well, I was growing up with both parents before my father passed away. But yeah, I absolutely. So I agree with that. Femininity is not a choice right now. Well, submissiveness is not a choice. Femininity, like if a woman is feminine, she's gonna be feminine, and I would say that if a woman is going to be submissive, then if a woman's going to submit to you, then like I don't necessarily think like there's not really much that can sway her from not being submissive to you, unless you're just a dude that just kind of fell off. Now, again, right, because you talk about your background when you say you come from 3 generations of single women. Now, there are men who would actually be taught by women like that and would be taught to actually be more of the caterer and things of that sort, and kind of enable the bad behavior. And that is something that we are seeing. And I think that, like, what Lucario is trying to say is that having game can kind of supersede you past that. But I also see the other side of the coin of saying that, like, if a woman is not going to submit to you, then you know, there's nothing that you can say. There's no type of game. There's nothing that you can do to sway her.
This is what, and this is my thing too. And there's two main topics. What April MC is saying, she says an off and on switch. That is incorrect. You want to know why? Because in other cultures, there are cultures, there are places in this world, and I've traveled. I'm going to Germany, by the way, in December. There are places in this world where there's no running water. Women have to carry buckets of water back and forth to different places. They have to till the soil. They have to do things that will require a lot of masculine effort, but yet they're still in their feminine.
I got you.
There are women out here that have more femininity in their pinky, and they don't have running water or a toilet in their living vicinities, more than a woman that lives in a nice building with AC and heating.
Right.
You can't. And my thing is this: if it was and people say, "Oh, women are all the same everywhere." Name another group of women. In this situation, I'm talking about black women. Name another group of women who, when someone like Kevin dies, they were celebrating. That's unheard of. Women in other cultures, they might not like the man. They might not agree with his talking points. But for a group of women to go online and celebrate a man's death, that's savage-like behavior. There's nothing feminine about that.
No, I definitely agree. So let me just bring Tobias the Traveler in here. What's going on, brother?
Oh, life is good, man. What's going on with you?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for holding it down in the chat, man. A lot of people pulled up. That's why I put it on slow mode on purpose, because I had a feeling people was gonna pull up for this one.
Yeah, no, I kind of figured also, right? I had some things going, but I saw, folks was just falling in like kind of quick, and I'm like, all right, let me go ahead and help out, man. So, it was nice, but just to be a part of it, help out, listen to what Lucario had to say, see if anything had changed. In his rhetoric, which I gotta say I like Lucario's stance, because he doesn't fold on his word, right? When you listen to the man, he has his beliefs, he has his principles, and he doesn't fold on them based off what someone else says, and that can always be respected. Even if you might think it's wrong, somebody thinks it's right, doesn't matter. He doesn't fold, but he always listens also, right? He doesn't just try to cut people off or anything like that.
No, absolutely. Oh, sorry, my fault.
Yeah. Now, then, one thing that he said that I think can go either way, right? Where he is like, well, women are the same all over the world, which they are, but then they're not. And I think someone else a bit ago said, culture can't be gamed. That is incorrect, because it depends on what culture you're dealing with, right? Where's that woman come from? Now, people would try to tell me like, oh, well, you know what? All right. Earlier in the show, right, Lucario mentioned this company called RSD, Real Social Dynamics. I remember them. They were a pickup artist company back in like 2012, 2013, 2014. They were pushing their product really, really hard. And at the time, I was living in Sweden. And, they actually, one of the cats from their fucking, my bad. One of the cats from
we're good. We're like 2 hours in.
Okay, cool.
Just swear on, dog.
One of the dating coaches, right, hit me up because I was in their group, and because I was going out a lot, having a whole lot of fun. It was about just, it was dating. Can you pull women? But what I discovered, right, while living in Sweden, was the whole game thing really did not work there, but I had to learn to gain their culture first, because their culture is very, very different than, in the States, right? We're taught, hey, you know what? Get your money up, look good, holla at the woman, you woo her. And, if you do these things, she'll like you, be cocky, be funny, all that good stuff, right?
Mhm.
And when cats came to Sweden, right, or even when Swedish men tried to implement these tactics that were being taught, they all failed, right? They all, and I mean, like my first month, I like to tell the story. My first month of living in Sweden, it was a dry month when it came to the dating scene. So I had to sit back and watch and learn how the culture went. And I noticed that the women always hollered at the men, right? They would get drunk. They go to the bar, get they 3-4 shots of vodka, right? And then they holler at the men, right, who are on the dance floor, right? The men would be on the dance floor talking about hair care products and hockey. The broads, the women are at the bar getting drunk, trying to build their liquid courage. So this is culture. How I figured it out, like I said, I just had to sit back and watch. So sometimes, as an outsider, you see things from a different perspective, and you do have to learn. You watch, and you can game the culture a bit. I got really, really successful with, taking them down.
Yeah.
So the culture can be gamed, but that's some high level ish, right? That's you just don't do that. It's not something that's really just taught. You got to sit back and watch it. So again, culture can be gamed sometimes, but then sometimes it cannot be gained. And so again, not women aren't the same all over the world. They're not, like they are, but then they are not. It's you, but you got to figure out which ones are and which ones are not. And like I say, it's not just Japan, Singapore, China, Australia, Brazil. All these women are exactly the same. That's incorrect. And if you've never been there, if you haven't spent time in those cultures, you don't know, right? You will not know. You can read a book all about it all day long, but that don't mean nothing if you ain't out there. If you don't have your boots on the ground and actually conversing, you don't know. You can right? You can say you've, like I said, dealt with a bunch of women in the States, but that's not the same. It's not.
Right. That's interesting. Oh, my fault. Go ahead, Azriel.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry. What I meant to say is to add on to your point. When an American company thrives, right? When a company starts in America, it thrives. It goes through its growing pains. Then it reaches a point where, okay, is it more cost effective to stay here and pay for the extra tax to supplement a higher income because the living conditions for Americans would be higher, so therefore you're going to have to pay more as an employer? Or should I go overseas where I can make more money and the labor is cheaper? We understand that in terms of globalism. See, now here's the thing. We know globalism is influencing, in the last 20 years, has been one of the biggest influence in culture, in sports, in money, businesses. But now that isn't an issue. Now that it's an issue with dating, and everybody's surprised when in reality, people are just globalizing every part of their daily lives. They're gonna globalize businesses where I don't have to work, or I don't have to build a factory in America when I can get cheap labor somewhere else. It's the same exact thing. People don't know it's about being cost effective. Now, what am I saying is, are men going to other cultures to take advantage? No, but if I do not feel as though it's cost effective to stay here in this culture and in this country to build a family, then I'm going to leave. And we don't have no problems. I'm sure you guys have an iPhone. Half of the iPhones that we have, the parts are made in Africa and in China. We have no issue with that. We have no issue because we know that if it was made in America, the expenses will be beat. Instead of paying for $1,000 for an iPhone, we could probably be paying $2,000, right? So more or less, my point is that if you can find ways to ease your life and to make your everyday lifestyle easier, in particular with dating, why not take a chance? And this is my thing about, I think dating coaches are hypocritical. They say that you should have an abundance mindset, yet you say, okay, I want to leave this country to see what other women are like, but then they said, no, you're running away. How can you run away but having an abundance mindset at the same time?
Okay, let me just jump in real quick. When it comes to game, what people are selling is game. Actually, that's wrong, man. Come on, it's game. Actually, really comes from that real stone cold pimping, which people try to repackage to sell it to white people as game, right? That abundance mindset ain't not. I could get way deep off into that because that's where it comes from, but it has been watered down and trying to be sold to people who may not have had the most success, as RSD used to put it, success with women, which I still think is a funny term. And when you water it down like that, right, it makes anyone think that they can just do it. You know what? Not everybody is for everybody. You're not gonna get, just because you see this woman, she may not be attracted to you, right? Or you know what? You might be a very attractive man, but you start talking to her and immediately she is turned off because your words, right, don't actually match your exterior, right? What's in you doesn't match what's come on the outside of you. If those two don't even out, she's not going to be attracted to you no matter what. Oh, hold on, he says I'm good, right? That can. Pimping will always tell you, right? The game is in you, not on you. That means it's coming from inside, who you are as a person, right? That's what she's going to be attracted to. Not every woman is going to be attracted to you. It's your words, it's not your exterior. I know this because I went through it. I experienced it when I was younger, like 17, 18, 19. Yeah, I was an attractive young man, but I would talk to women and it just wasn't there yet. I got a little older and I figured out that it was there in me, but it was dormant. A lot of men don't know that they have it, but it may be dormant and they're just not around the right men to coach them. A lot of cats don't want to be coached. They think they already know something, which they don't, right? If that's how you think and how you feel, well, you could be wrong. You could be hustling backwards. That's your fault. And leaders aren't born leaders. You're actually taught to be a leader, right? Just like people aren't born nice or good. You have to be taught to be good. You were born evil and just doing all types of wicked shit as a young, hard-headed little boy. And mom, dad, somebody had to straighten you out and teach you this, just like leadership is taught. It's not, right, something that is just there. But you must, even if a man is a leader, your leadership, right, especially if you're solid, your leadership will repel a lot of women because they just don't want it, and that's fine. Cool. You just saved yourself a headache, right?
Facts.
Right. If your leadership.
Hey, Azrael, you have an echo. I don't know like what happened, but you're echoing.
Okay, give me a second.
And I think brother Andrew, I think his name is, right? He says, you talk about tilling the women that's tilling the soil, man. You don't want to live there. You don't want to live no place in deepest, darkest Cambodia or a country in Africa where they still gotta till the soil by themselves, or maybe an ox is doing that. Ain't gonna be no internet, no indoor plumbing. We cats don't even want to be around that because our creature comforts are we gotta have them things. And as far as brothers moving abroad or going abroad, I think it's false, because most men don't make enough money to either to live abroad or have enough stacked up so they can live abroad, or they don't have the type of jobs that allow them to work abroad long term. That's so cats will go for they long weekends or whatever they do, cool. But most men are not taking off for extended periods of time because they just don't have that type of work, or they don't have, even if they do, the companies they work for may not allow it. This is why we see like a lot of cats, hey man, how can I get, how can I, spoof my IP address so my company can't find out that I'm working from whatever country they want to be in? How can I do that? Because their companies won't allow it, even if they are working remotely in the US. But again, the number of men that have the full capability to work and live abroad like that number is small. It's not really happening as people as much as people talk about it. I just don't see it.
Gotcha. So I did want to get to you guys' thoughts on this. So April MC. So there was a talk. There was a point in the conversation. I'm sorry, and we were talking about femininity, and Azriel had brought it up, and so April was saying that it actually is an on and off switch. As a woman in corporate America, I don't always come across as feminine. What are you guys' thoughts about that?
In all actuality, it actually is an on-off switch. You know what? So, all right, well, let me see. Let me think about this. A lot of women, right? Depending on what her position is, right? In her company, the job she has, she may be, a shot caller, right? She may be like, hey, you know what? She's making the decisions that affect a whole bunch of, people under her, right? She's the senior vice president of this, that, and the other, right? That means she's got she's making some big choices that affect, the livelihoods, or could have potentially affect the livelihoods of people. And they're looking at her for leadership. They're looking at her to make those tough choices. But once that is done, right? I'm thinking most women don't want to deal with that. They want to take that, that suit off, or whatever they're doing. They want to take that image off and just be at home, right? Like, hey, you know what? This is where I'm best suited, or I would think they want to. Now, granted, there are some women that don't. They just want to, that's who they are. But that man who is a leader, he's not going to stand for that, right? He's not going to be like, nah, I don't want that, right? I heard somebody say one time, why have your woman build somebody else's dreams, right? You hear that?
Oh yeah.
Why have your woman build someone else's dream? You help her, if y'all got y'all thing together.
She's supposed to be helping you build your dream.
Correct, right? Or maybe, right? Or she's also has something she's interested in. Cool, babe, you got this. Hey, she at the house, right? Everything that you need, she helps you with, is great. But then she's also got something that can help support your unit. Beautiful, but not build another man's dreams. I couldn't do that. I wouldn't have my woman doing it. Nah. But the feminine.
No, not to cut you off, but I was thinking, I think Kevin actually once said that at one point in time. Like, why are you allowing your woman to build someone else's dreams?
Yeah, Kevin said that a lot. A lot of like this has been said a lot in these spaces, because like, why? Because if you think about it, right, and that was one of the things where Lucario and I had spoken about earlier, where like the woman, she's submitting to her boss, right? And so there are submissive women, but what I was saying was that like, yeah, she's submitting to her boss, but she's not submitting to the guy. And
because you know what?
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
All right, okay. Really, before I jump to that, I want to get back to April really quickly. So she said, in corporate America, I don't always come off as feminine. Okay, well,
hold on, guys. You gotta show me where she said that. Hold on.
No, I'm looking at it's on the screen right now. You got to highlight it. It's on the screen.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I think she said something else. I was like, wait a minute.
I just wanted to make sure I answered, or replied to her statement. And she says that's in corporate America, though. Now, is she not coming off as feminine to men that she's interested in, right? Or is it when it's business? Because if it's a business, it don't matter if you're coming off as feminine. It should be you are, you in the position, right? Especially if it's in a position of power. You're a decision maker. It's not going to be masculine, feminine. It's, hey, this is what's best for the business. So coming off as feminine, that could be seen as a weakness. No, you want to be coming off as, hey, we need to make X, Y, and Z choices, right? Like I said, since she said corporate, I just want to make sure I'm going the right direction with the question, or with the answer. If it's, I need to be feminine in corporate, nah, or is she, she's in corporate, working in corporate America. Then when she meets men, it's okay, because you're a woman, you know how to turn it on and off. That's a question. Some women do, right, know how to turn it on. Some women don't. Turning it off, right, is, you're not in the office, and you out with your girls having some drinks or whatever, right? Y'all look nice, y'all look great, and you meet somebody, but it's not even like you turn it off, right? Yet that feminine of who you are is already there. So it's not like you had to turn it off. It was basically, you turned off corporate, right? Because feminine was already there. You just turned off corporate. You didn't turn on your femininity. It never goes away. If it's there, it's there. It doesn't turn off. You might put on, man, I got to be strong because of this, but does she actually want to do this? Do most women want to do that? Like some may want that, some may not. Most don't, right? You think about it, like, nah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to, or as a woman, she's probably, I don't want to have to make all those decisions. Just like if you ask someone, hey, what you want to eat tonight? I don't care. She don't even want to make that choice. It don't even matter. Hey, I'm about to grill some steaks. We gonna have some asparagus and something else. Okay, she cool with it. That decision making, she don't want to do that.
Right.
And that's just her following your lead. Cool, he made it easy. All right, great. This is what's for dinner tonight. Something real simple. But
absolutely. If this is Trini vlog for sure, just cam up in the back, but you don't have to cam up when I pull you up. But just show your camera just so I can make sure it's you.
I want to ask you guys though.
Oh, okay. I see you, bro.
Two questions. Like, do you believe? Well, let me ask you this one thing. I forgot what it was. I remember one of the two questions.
If he's the right person.
See, and that's why I do not agree with that, because my thing is this, especially with American women, they say, oh, it got to be the right guy. If you're with a man, true femininity will not want to be in a place where masculinity is absent. So this whole thing of, oh, he got to be the right person. If he's the right person, that means you submit with your body and with your mind. You're not, if the whole concept, I'll hear a lot of American women say, oh, he's the right person. Meanwhile, they still sleep with the dude and have a kid by him. But, oh, you don't want to submit to the dude. Like women in America now, they'll give you head before they make you a meal. Because they'll be like, oh, I can't rest in my femininity. But you were just sucking off dude yesterday. Like, what's the whole big deal? It's not. It's a choice. It's not a thing of, oh, it rains, so the tree grows kind of thing. It's not a thing of, oh, 2 + 2 = 4, so therefore so and so and so. No, you're making a deliberate choice not to be under his leadership. That's a you problem, because when it doesn't work out, then what happens? The woman get bitter, and then she goes to the next guy that might be qualified, and it don't work out with him. And then when it don't work out, you got guys like Lucario saying, well, you didn't have enough influence under this woman. No, she had issues prior to me meeting her.
Every person you meet is going to have some issues, dog. That's just what it is, right?
Yeah.
And you know what? We choose who we allow in our lives, right? So you can still vet that person, just like you go through a job interview, right? Like, I don't know what type of job interviews you've been on, but if I'm going through a job interview, mine are usually like 5 or 6 interviews, hour-long interviews, and there's going to be a panel, right? At least 2 different panels. So it's a tough process.
Yep.
You have to vet that person, and you can't do it. You can't base it on the sex. Sure, we all gonna have some issues, but then it's still incumbent. It's still upon us to fix whatever is in us, whatever's wrong with that. Now, if you see some red flags, right, in that woman, why, okay, well, you know that's not for you. Don't go knock her up. That's your fault if you do. That's your, right. That's the man's fault. No, I don't want to say you, but that is that man's fault for knocking up the wrong chick. He didn't have.
Yeah.
Hold on, guys. Let me get in here a minute, man. What's up, guys? What's up, King of Dreams, man?
What's up, vlog tripping?
What up? So I just want to chime in on this feminine masculine debate going on. I don't know if you guys remember Monique, and if you ever watched Monique's interview, Monique the comedian.
Yeah.
And you would see Monique is an actress, a very good actress in my opinion. And you've seen in all types of masculinity. And she made parody a lot of females that I think are relatives in the Black community. However, when she talks to her husband / manager, she's a whole different creature, a whole different person. She calls him daddy. She talks to a lower tone. Like on a Breakfast Club, she was yelling at Charlemagne and, talking about Lee Daniels and all this other stuff. When she talks to her husband, it's a whole different person. So I think that it is an on and off switch for women. However, the culture has kind of warped women's idea of what masculinity is. So I think that they'll be able to be in their quote unquote feminine in presence of what they think masculinity is. So I think one of the main things of masculinity comes in the form of money. So you might see a woman who, she might not be as feminine to a guy who makes the same amount of money as her. However, if Donald Trump walks through the door, all of a sudden she turns feminine. So it's not it's not an inherent femininity, it's conditional. And it's conditioned by the culture. Where if someone overseas, I don't think masculinity is based on finances automatically. It's based on, how you take care of your family, strength. You take care of your household, not on a monetarily sense. You raising your kids, you have respect from, your elders, so I think masculinity overseas takes a different term, and we don't have to earn our masculinity in the States.
It's still here, but it's still here, but it's in a much smaller amount. Honestly, it's still here.
Hold on, go ahead. Before you respond, please make sure that you like this video, share this video, and if you have not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Also, where are my super chats, man? The super chats just got dead. Come on, man. There's 29 people in here. Show some love, man. Super chat this thing, man. I need some love, man. All right, go ahead, Tobias.
No, I was just saying that it hasn't, the having a feminine woman, right? One who gonna take care of, your home, right? First off, you as a man, you have to build the castle that she can actually come into. If you ain't built the castle or not in the process of building no castle, you gotta shut your fucking mouth, right? Any dude talking, they ain't feminine. Dude, what are you building for her? And it doesn't mean you got to be a millionaire or 100,000 right? But if you aren't creating a place for her to nest, because that's a requirement of a woman. She needs, and not just a little tiny apartment. She got to at least have a house with a garage. Just hold on, the basic 1,500 square feet.
I got into
two bathroom.
That's not the average woman's mindset. It's luxury.
Right.
Because every man can afford the basics. Because every man has a home already. So I gotta interrupt you. It can't be lifestyle of
you're not listening, dog. Let me finish. I already said that amount of women, right, is small, but you should still have that. If you don't, right, don't talk. But again, that number of women is small. I'm not saying that they're in mass numbers. I didn't say that at all. That number of women is small. Now, can you find it abroad? Yeah, man, yeah, you can. But you still have to be that solid man. You still gonna have to be able to provide that home, and you have to be in her country, right? Because folks know you don't want to bring it back here. Right, that's just gonna contaminate that fresh spring water. So if you can't be in her country full time, like long term, and speak the language, because that is a requirement, unless you're about to Google translate everything for the next 35 years, it ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
My question to you is, can I ask him a question? With that being said, do you believe that America in its culture right now is conducive to healthy relationships?
No, it is not. Not in mass, right? You know what? Not in mass, because you can still find very healthy relationships a lot of times in probably, they're going to be in small pockets, right? They're not about to be, in, like I said, in mass, but you can find them. You're going to look for them. You're going to have to be in communities where it's, where the family structure is intact, right? If you look at Nigerian families that come to the United States, East Indian families, Arab families, Asian families, as long as that family structure is intact, they typically have strong relationships. The women and the men, they ain't just out there just going bananas like that, right? They don't have the same issues. But when you do see like in the majority of the states, right, everybody thinks, oh, they a bad bitch. So I'm like, really? Oh, hey, you cool, do you? I ain't worried about you. I'm not looking for you. I'm gonna go ahead and live my life and enjoy this. But this is what they do. We don't have to associate with them, right? It is our choice to. But again, answer your question: is it conducive to solid, or fruitful relationships? Not in mass. No, not like it used to be.
And my thing with this, I'm almost done with this when I'm saying this. If somebody said, for example, you could find women in the States just have your stuff together, men think it's a cheat code to be below an average income and looks to go to another country. No one is saying to be subpar. No one is saying that you should be lacking. But for the mere fact, 50 years ago, there was no such thing as a dating coach. There were no people having to have seminars on how to have one of the most basic forms of interaction a human can ever possibly have. There was no such. Somebody in the chat said, "Oh, you have to vet women 18 to 24 years." Your grandparents they started dating. Let's say they started dating around this time. By the summertime, they were already married, and by the next year after that, they're already on their first kid. The culture has changed, and people are not accepting it. They're just saying, "Try harder," instead of saying, "No, maybe I need to pivot, and maybe I need to adapt to a better environment."
So let me add something real quick. I just want to dispel this narrative that you have to earn your way into a relationship. Like there's no money figure that you can announce. There's no amount of wealth you can acquire. There's no amount of cars, land. You need a house of this big, needs to make 6 figures. That doesn't matter, because when we look at these high earners, these celebrities, they're still going through the same things. The same thing with Jenny Mai and Jeezy. It's not a money issue. It's the same result. It's a culture issue.
Hey, peep game though, right? Let me explain something I thought about it was a while back. So, man, you build yourself up. You get to where you are mentally fit, physically fit, financially fit, emotionally fit. I mean, and a lot of times people don't, like when Kevin was like, "Yo, you got to be making, $10,000 a month, right, to be in the high value man status." People got kind of thrown aback by that. But now, say if you are making, $300,000, $400,000 a year, right? Your life is great. You know, you ain't got no worries like Lil Wayne. Now, you actually have more, because people say, oh, you got more options. You have more options to sleep with women, right? You have a lot more options, but the options of women you will marry dwindles, because you actually have to think about, hold on, this one over here, this one, they only want me for my paper, right? So then there's the other side, right? I've met women who are like, Tobias, you have your life together, and I just don't know if I measure up. All these other women are gonna want you. You have that side, but then you also have the other side of women who are just really trying to get you. So it leaves a very, very small window of women that you would actually marry. So, you know, if your goal is just to be out there smashing forever, oh, be the guest, go for it. But to actually have something that's meaningful, like, and that's within the United States. Let me clarify, within the U.S., it's going to be very, very difficult for you to find, you know, that woman, for the same reason doctors don't tell, like male doctors, they don't tell women that they are doctors. I know this because I used to date a gynecologist, and you know, she had her, you know, a lot of her colleagues. I met him, and I'm like, he was like, oh yeah, I'm a surgeon, I do this, and this. Oh no, I don't tell women that, you know, I'm a medical professional. Right? Because they don't want to get, you know, they already know that they got that that dollar sign right on their back, right? That green dollar is, you know, is heavy in their pockets, and it does make it very, very difficult for them. So when you get to that level, again, you got to look at both sides. Women who think that, oh, everybody's gonna want you, and she's scared. Then you got the ones that's just trying to chase you down to get your pockets, and the ones that actually really want you for you, the ones that you'll open up to, that, you know, you'll probably tell about your childhood or whatever that is. That number is small, man. So I would like to know your thoughts on that.
Hold on really quick. Sorry about that. Hold on really quick. Shout out to Black Nubian for the $2 Canadian dollars. I'm sorry, for the $2 Canadian dollars. I've been talking all day. Salute to you, Black Nubian. And then also my man Ethan, who is actually boots on the ground in Colombia. What's up, bro?
I'm doing amazing. You know, just enjoying the country. Currently dating a 24-year-old. So, you know, been on the second date, just talking, enjoying Colombia, Cali, Colombia especially. Had to move away from the gringos in Medellin, so I'm not better over here.
I feel you, man. Yeah, man. So, you know, thank you all for participating in this conversation. But I think sorry, before you go, Trini, I just wanted to hear your thoughts, Ethan, on what you had heard in this conversation.
Yeah, it is kind of true, because, you know, you have to be careful, especially, you know, there are some chicks in Colombia who, of course, might want you for your money. Got to be careful. But there are a bunch of good chicks out here who just don't care. Who, you know, they just want to know who you are as a person. Like the first girl I met when I was in Colombia, she's technically Venezuelan. Things were going good with her. So I just kind of had to leave and go to, you know, Cali. But yeah, it's, you know, be careful. You know, it is better in, you know, compared to America. It's easier to find a more submissive woman who is, you know, beautiful, who works out, and it's also, cost of living is cheaper down here. So I do recommend that you guys, you know, try and explore, go to different countries, Asia, different continents, and enjoy life. So.
No, absolutely, man, absolutely. Big up to my man Rod for the $3 Cash App. That's my dude right there, man. Salute. And I think this is him right here. That's why I love listening in. Hey, man, thank you for watching, man. Yeah, my man Rod, we coach together with you know, with the youngins, man. So we be getting it in. I posted a picture on my community tab about me coaching football. I don't really talk about that on Kings and Dreams as far as showing like pictures, but those who have my personal Facebook and my personal IG, y'all already know. Oh, y'all could go ahead.
I'm gonna just finish up my thought real quick. Just to piggyback off what the last person was saying about sometimes when you meet women and you have your stuff together, they kind of can't talk to you a certain way. And some of that might be that so-called intimidation when they date a man and he has this stuff together and they can't go into their usual things that they say, usual things that they do, because now you expect more. So I've heard, I have relatives, and when they talk about men and say, damn, this guy has a good job, I can't do this. I can't do this type of games. I can't treat him this kind of way because of what he has. And some say, you know what, that's doing too much. I need to date someone that's a little bit below my standards so I could tell them go get a job and I could curse them out and I could speak down to them. So just a little heads up on that.
Shout out to Nicki Minaj.
You know what though? If you meet, if you got your life together and a woman is feeling like that, it's actually best that you don't deal with her anyway, no matter what she looks like. You are dodging a bullet. I don't care if she got all the booty in the world and her head game is life-changing like Jesus. You don't need to mess with her. Right? Honestly, you don't need to, because that's more than a liability. If she already think, oh, she's beneath you, and it's that it's a class thing, really. If it's that bad, if she's thinking that bad, because there's a lot of women I meet, or like when I go out, or I ain't been going out lately, but like when I do step out, women see me and they're like you can see them staring, but they know I'm not fucking with them. They know I ain't fucking with them. And that's fine. That's cool. I don't need you. I don't want you. That's cool. And I see it as again, not wasting my time. Some boats just ain't gonna be on your level, and that's okay. It don't matter what they look like, right? Just like many countries have a class system. And if you not of a certain, if they got like a 1 through 5 class system, and you a 5 and she a 2, right? You not talking to her. That's just what it is. You shouldn't be talking to her.
Right?
Why?
Yep.
You should be dealing with people that's on your level. Now, in the States, we really don't have a class system. So and men, we will still date a chick that's you a 5 on the class system. She a 10 of looks, but she come from a poor family, right? She come from a family that's not as hold on. Even if you come from a poor family, but you've been able to make something of yourself, right? You've been able to climb that ladder and get your life all the way together. You meet a chick, again, she got like a shitty family, but she bad. Do you really want to deal with her family? Because that is, oh, my mama need this, my grandmama need that, and my cousin is. He's like, God, it's a fucking headache. Do you really want to deal with that chick?
No, absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Let me just chime in really quickly because what guys, so let me read this. So Rod says, fellas, these young men love to hear y'all and need to hear y'all. Absolutely. I completely agree. But, another thing I just want to add to that is like what men need to realize is that like when you are dealing with the woman, and if you're dealing with her long-term relationship and or marriage, don't forget you are inheriting her family. So yeah, like, okay, if this is just a chick you're just having fun with, you hanging out for a little while or whatever the case is, short term, we're all red-blooded men, so we all know what we're talking about. But like, if you're dealing with the woman long term, you're gonna inherit her family. Just what Tobias was saying, like, Big Mama need this, TT need that, all that other bullshit. You're like, God damn.
Agreed. So I mean, yeah, if no matter if you see her and she got because we're visual, right? We know this that visual, that physical, like, ooh, look, ooh, goodness, you know what it's gonna be, when the lights go out or shit, keep them on. Don't matter. But she not the only one.
Yeah.
Right. She's not the only one, and if she a headache. Or hold on. Some brothers just like ratchet chicks, right? That's what they do. Cool. You deal with that headache. I'm not about to play that game. I'm gonna go sit on the couch. Right? I'm good. Why deal with that, right? Why?
Yeah.
That's what I like to know. Why do that when you know it's a headache? Oh, but man, her head game. Oh, you must not have had real good head at that often. That's what I'm thinking.
You
must
know,
not have been.
well, the thing is, some of these dudes don't realize their value, right? Because and also what a lot of men don't realize is that there's actually more women than men. So, and we don't take the time to do the math. So, we see, we'll see this, this bad woman or whatever the case is, and it's like, oh man, I don't know if I'm ever gonna find another bad woman again, right? And I think this is one of the reasons why the passport bro movement, travel movement, blue book general, whatever you want to call it, movement has erupted, because dudes is yo, I'm starting to realize what the value is here. Man, I can go to a country like Brazil and meet a beautiful woman and not have any issues. Like Ethan right now, he's boots on the ground in Cali, Colombia. And Cali, Colombia is, man, I remember back in the early 2000s, dudes would go down to Atlanta to find some baddies. You know what I mean? Dude, let me tell you. Right. You know it.
Yes.
So, you go to Cali, Colombia, and man, the Afro Latinas, bro, it's basically like a Latin Atlanta, bro. And I'm talking about dark skinned shorties with crazy bodies, man.
Yeah, big booties, man. My girl's booty is it's huge, man. It's crazy, thick. I've seen some crazy stuff, just walking inside the home center. This one chick, a light-skinned chick, I've never seen a booty so round and it was crazy. It was she had a BBL, but it was natural. It was just crazy. The shape was ridiculous.
Yeah, man. It's yeah, and also it's also with Cali, it's actually when it comes to the price, the price of Cali is really inexpensive, man. Because I have my spot in Medellin, and I mean, yeah, it's less expensive than the States, but I mean, Cali, dude, you could find a really nice spot there. I mean, the restaurants.
How much is your spot in Medellin?
So with everything included, it comes to 800, and that's for me getting it clean, cable, internet. Everything like that. So
is it two beds or two baths or one bed, one bath?
Oh, two bedrooms.
Okay, one bath.
Yeah, actually, you know what, guys? Let me pull it up. Go ahead, keep talking, guys.
Yeah, but that's still cheaper than the States though, because I was paying $850 and I was sharing a house with 3 other roommates, and I was $850 and everything included. So that's still, you still get a good spot for 800. I had a spot for $980 in Medellin. It was I think $960, $980, but it was 3 bedrooms, 3 baths, fully furnished, 4K Samsung TV, another Samsung TV in the bedroom.
There we go.
Everything brand new, appliances, security guards, 24/7, 2 per shift. Really fancy, really fancy apartment.
Now, were you in Poblado or were you in Laureles?
I was right next to the mall. The what's that mall called? I forgot the name of it, but it's the big mall in Medellin.
You were by Provenza?
No, I think it was by Provenza. What's that mall in Medellin? Let me look it up real quick.
I know the mall you're talking about, but I think that you were in Poblado though.
I was closer to the hills, the hills. What's that spot called? The hills, Sabaneta. I was closer to Sabaneta.
Okay, yeah. So I believe you still were in Poblado though.
I was not in Poblado. Definitely was not in Poblado.
You was not?
Definitely not in Poblado. I think the chick was overcharging me by a little bit, by at least 200. Yeah. But it was a nice spot. I loved it.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Vlog, you asked what are we talking about now? I guess we just chopping it up, man. I finished my interview, so whatever y'all want to talk about.
I wanted to say this too with what Jackus, the Navigator, said. A woman isn't submissive to a man because she wasn't raised. That's not a game. It's called common sense. This is more or less we're talking about nature versus nurture. And I reiterated it again. I can meet the most feminine woman, the most cooperative woman ever. But if I'm a bad man, if I'm a terrible leader, then there's only so much that she can do on her end. And it's vice versa. People have to bring in 100%. A man just can't come into. I mentioned this, and it's funny. I mentioned this in Austin's chat and in other spots. Because Lucario says, "Oh, if you're the right guy, the woman will just fall in line." A woman, you can't. Michael B. Jordan can't just show up, and a woman that was a crackhead for the last 5 to 10 years gonna be like, you know what? I want to get with this guy. I'm gonna stop doing crack. It don't work like that.
Yeah.
It does not work. I mean, and I made it into a joking manner, but it doesn't work like that because one, you are creatures of habit. What do they say? Excellence is something that you do every day. Therefore, excellence more or less is a habit, right? You are the what you do every day.
Yeah.
So if a woman acts like an A-hole, she acts like a B, last letter H, she's not going to automatically a guy that's like the top has everything on point. He's not going to fall in line. What usually happens, and Lucario mentions this, those women, they'll avoid quality men because they know they can't measure up. So that in of itself is a contradiction. You understand what I'm saying? He says on one hand, oh, you just got to be that guy. But then he'll admit, and he said this before, that women will know that you're a quality dude and avoid you. And women do that all the time. Look at Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj don't want no man doesn't want a leader. She wants somebody that's controllable.
That's her idea of masculinity, though. That's what I'm saying. It depends on what their idea of masculinity is. And growing up, I'm not growing up too far in Queens, where she grew up in like the projects, and where her husband is from. That's their idea of masculinity.
She went to the same elementary school as me, PS45. Go ahead.
So you know what I'm saying? Like back in the day,
you from New York too?
Yeah, bro. I'm in Crown Heights.
No. I knew Tony was from New York, but I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, well, see, you from Crown Heights. I used to live in Crown Heights also, so you know what her idea of masculinity growing up is. So of course, no matter now she has enough money, to her it doesn't matter. Now she's going after what she truly believes is masculinity. And I'm also Trini also, and she did something similar in Trinidad where she's at Carnival, and she he basically pushed away our Jay-Z when she was at Carnival, and it came across disrespectful to the whole nation that this man thinks he's so thug that he doesn't understand the culture. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it goes to, I don't really listen to Lucario and all that pickup artist stuff, but when you say he's talking on both sides is because you have to be that idea of masculinity for that woman. And in America, it kind of goes hand in hand with money. So even though that crackhead, going back to your story, if she see Michael B. Jordan, if she know Michael B. Jordan is a celebrity, she's going to become feminine. She might be a feminine crackhead, but she will become feminine because she knows ahead of time that Michael B. Jordan has money and now she could buy endless amount of crack. You know what I mean? Now, is it inherent femininity? I don't know, because she wasn't like similar to also nature versus nurture. Mm-hmm. It's not in her nature, but it's conditioned to her in America what masculinity is. It's money.
And I'm gonna piggyback off. I'm gonna throw you an alley hoop right real quick, and that goes into why I say a lot of times, especially with Lucario, he contradicts himself. If we're going to say, "Oh, if a man complaining, oh, the women are not feminine," and Lucario says, "Well, you just got to be that guy for that woman," then why would I have to vet her in the first place? Does that make any sense to you? What I'm saying? In the sense that, if you know what I mean, if you're that guy, then there should never be an issue, and you shouldn't even have to vet in the first place, unless you're telling me that you do have to vet. And then, in other words, you're telling me that it's not an on switch like that. You have to do your research.
Listen, I'm here in Houston, right? And me and my homie was talking about, buying bottles and sections and stuff like that. And we bought a section, right? And we are watching the women watching who's buying the section and basically coming and standing right in front of that section, trying to get invited in. And there are men, right? Which normally I don't get sections, might be staying around having a drink, whatever, chilling, trying to talk to those same women, and they ignored them, brushed them off, trying to get our attention. So it's like when they say you need to be a pickup artist and all this, women do approach men. However, they have to know some type of status or some type of money, some type of popularity. They will get in their feminine and then approach.
Yep, that makes sense.
That's their nature, right? That's their nature. Just like, if you man, say you out with your boys, y'all go to the nice little lounge or bar, club, wherever you're at, and you pull up at the bar, you're about to buy a round of drinks for you and your friends, and you see, there's the two chicks hanging out at the bar by them, just waiting, right? They waiting for you or somebody else to, buy you a drink. That is their nature. That's what it's going to be. We know this. But we don't have to deal with that. It is our choice. You see it. Oh, okay. I already know what you're up to. It's good. Hey, how you doing? Oh, yeah, shit. Life is amazing. You just order what you order and keep it pushing. If you're going to talk to them, don't order them, buy no drinks immediately, because you know what they're about already, right? You know this. So if you know, and if you know better, you could do better. Don't make no dumb decisions. But a whole bunch of cats still think that, oh well, if I do this for her, she gonna be on me. No, she's not. Right? We'd all been there, bought a chick a drink, and she wasn't interested in us, but maybe we were young and we wasted that money, and we're like, what? I bought this chick a drink. Maybe you didn't learn it your first, second, third, or 17th time. Then you start scratching your head and you see how they move.
I like how you said.
That's how a lot of women move, and that that's fine. But we don't have to deal with it. We have to, we got to have a little discernment on our end. Like, nah, I'm good. You pretty, cool. I ain't gonna tell her she pretty. We thinking it. God damn, she thick. But
right.
You don't have to do. You ain't got to do nothing for her, right? She trying to get into your section, so. So I would rather have my sister's friends in my section than some chicks that I don't know, and then my sister's friends, like nah, don't worry about them, bros. We saw them in the bathroom, right? I would rather. So it just makes shit a lot easier for me.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. All right, so X-Ray the Pookie says RP channels literally dismiss and ignore talking points if it's against what they believe in, no matter how true it is. It's nuts. I watch it happen over and over again. Any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, okay. Most cats who are I'm gonna say it, man. Most cats nowadays who are like this strong RP dudes, a lot of them they were rejected by women in their younger years, and they haven't found a means to just rectify what's in their own heart. Because even me, I remember when I was 18, I was talking to this one chick, bad, thick white girl, thick, and I'm like, oh God, and she was like, Tobias, I like you, but you're just too nice. And I held that shit, bothered me for a long time, like for many years, even through my marriage. But then got divorced when I moved to Germany, right? Late 2011, 2012. I remembered her words. So I kind of went into so women don't like the nice dude. Let me flip it. Let's see what happens, who they respond to. And they actually a lot of times respond very, very fucking well to that dude who could be an asshole. And it was a lot of fun. It was a whole lot of fun being that dude, because you get what you want. It's amazing, but it goes against everything, right, that you were taught. And you wake up, you do see a lot of what is communicated in RP, you know, community is real, right? It is real. But then you still have to figure out again what first hit you and solve that problem. Because, and also when you do, and then you work on yourself, you get just better as a man. Nothing that somebody else says. You'll see RP stuff. You're like, all right, yeah, that's cool, that's right. But you don't hold on to it so tightly because you actually have moved beyond it. So,
agreed.
Yeah, when you move beyond it, that's something else, man. That's something that's not communicated, but it's actually the best position to be in, because I know all these cats talking about RP stuff. I'm like, dude, you ninjas is new. If you weren't there in like 2011, 2012, to me, you knew.
Listen, I think the whole red pill discussion, the rise of YouTube, you know, KS, you know, even I guess before there's like the black red pill, there's also like the white red pill, which is, you know, men going their own way and all sorts of stuff. I think all of that's great. I think it's great for the conversation. I think that in the overall culture, it's having a positive effect. And there's always going to be people on the extremes of either side. So I'm not going to say that they're bad for society, that they're always wrong. But like everything else, you know, you take the good and you leave the bad. So there's a lot of good points that they make. There's a lot of not so good points. And I think being that, you know, if you were scarred younger, dealing with women, you know, if you had a father figure, I don't know if you guys had your fathers in your lives, but my father never told me to treat women nice. That was not the advice he gave me on how to deal with women. So maybe some guys didn't have that father figure or have that bigger brother to give them the lowdown, and they're taking advice from women, and they're having these horrible I should say results, and then that could turn them a little jaded, you know. But as you grow up and you're still having the same effect, you may not be suited for America, because America's a crazy culture. I'm not gonna pretend like this is the greatest culture in the world. This is if you go, America is on hard mode. You know, if you're dealing with black women, extremely hard. And sometimes it's better to take the cheat code. Don't let nobody convince you that you got to stay here and suffer, that you got to make all this massive amount of money, you know, get married, you know, go work on the gym, all this extra stuff, when you can go somewhere else, live your same lifestyle, make I wouldn't say equal, but make enough that you're comfortable in another country and have better results, easier time. You could have the family if that's what you want. You could, you know, you could be a player if that's what you want. But don't let someone tell you that you need to take this class, you need to stay here and deal with this. Travel around and you find the best culture, the best place that fits you, instead of you trying to fit to a culture that obviously you're not adapted to.
Yeah.
But you said something right, that's very important, right? You don't got to be a millionaire, right, or anything like that, right? You don't have to be in the gym 9 days a week, right? You ain't got to do that. But you do have to have the finances, right? Or at least the job that allows you to live abroad, work abroad, if you want to make US dollars. And before that, you have to have the skills to do this. If we're talking about black men, most black men are not doing this.
I disagree.
I disagree as well. I'm an example. Yeah, I'm an example of I make minimum wage basically, and I'm living abroad. You know, I found a solution to my issues. I make minimum wage, and I'm dating two girls right now. Beautiful. One of them is like 30 years old, really fit, huge butt, and the other one's is younger and slimmer and works out like 5 times a week. So I'm a proof that is, you know, you can do it. You know, both of them are black, Afro-Latina, so you can definitely do it. You know, with a regular job, it just has to be remote.
If you want to do it, you're gonna find a way. And this whole thing about black men being subpar, we are freaking very resourceful, bro. I've met so many black men in Thailand, in Africa, in Bali, in Brazil, and they all living it up, bro. And they don't need all these degrees, don't need these fancy, you know, titles. You have to find your how. I'm not gonna say it's a one size fit all, but basically in Pattaya, my apartment was $400 a month. And I have a YouTube video if you want to check it out that shows me my $400 apartment. you can make it on minimum and be fine. So this whole you need this, you need that. That's if you want to stay in America and you want to, you want to be successful in American culture. Yeah, you need all those things. But if you don't got time for that, or you want to not slave your life, we all can't be millionaires. We all can't make six figures. If you're the average guy, you got average looks, average height, and you want to have above average woman, you want to have an above average family, you don't have to stay here.
I'm an example of that. I make only minimum wage. My apartment is like $610 a month. I'm dating beautiful black chicks, fit, very fit. If I showed you pictures of, you were like, wow. And if you see them in person, they look way better in person than on the actual picture. So I'm proof that you just have to. You don't need to make six figures. You don't need to have a bunch of degrees.
Where are you? Not to cut you off, but where are you currently?
Cali, Colombia.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Now, I didn't say you had to make six figures, right? But I said the majority of brothers aren't doing that. They're not even obtaining the skills, right? They'll ask, oh, hey, how can I do this? How can I do this? We can tell you how, but then they're not applying it. There's a small number of brothers who are.
Where you traveled and haven't seen black men that are successful?
Say again?
Where have you traveled? What city? What planet? Well, I mean, not planet. What country? What continent?
Okay. I lived in Thailand for 3 years, from 2004 to 2007. I lived in Germany from 2011 to 2014.
And you didn't see black men.
From 2014 to 2015. I lived in Australia for another year and a half.
Yeah, I
have been to 46 countries. Dude, I got y'all niggas beat by a long shot. Right.
Not you. So, we're not passport bad maxing. Did you see black men that are there successful? Because you're saying not enough are doing it.
No, not like I seen white men. No.
You can't.
I'm talking about American white men. I'm not talking about Europeans.
You can't judge it you can't judge about white men who have a leg up on us.
No, but I'm looking at brothers. I'm looking at people.
No, I'm just saying. No, black men by themselves.
Like you and I.
Black men by themselves.
Yeah, I'm talking about brothers who come from the States, like you and I. I don't care what state you come from. Right, I'm a Cali dude, right? The number of black men that I've met traveling is minimal. It's minimal.
In comparison to by itself,
a long time.
Yeah, I think you're judging by comparison.
Yeah, but
you always judge by comparison, nigga. You compare.
Nah, we're not. We're not even that in population to be judged accurately, man. This is not even a fair race.
What you talking about?
You judge you judge by the people that you meet, because in Thailand, I can tell you we're not nowhere in close to the population of white men that are there. So to say that you see more, bro, I was in Pattaya for like 8 months. We're not in nowhere. We're not in the same.
Pattaya is a whole stroll,
bro. I'm just giving an example. I'm just giving you an example. There's no place you could say that we're in the majority. We're a minority of a minority, even when you travel. So you can't say, well, you guys are not successful as white men when they outnumber us.
I'm not talking about being outnumbered in success. Let's get back on track. I said there's not this mass number of brothers traveling like that or even living abroad like that. There's just not.
And then you said in comparison to white men.
No, I'm comparing it to looking at me. I'm a dark-skinned brother. You haven't seen other people like you. No, not in mass numbers. No, that's not from the continent of Africa. I see a bunch of Nigerians all day, but I do not see Black Americans.
I feel as if I've seen too many Black Americans.
I've seen a lot, and I'm not just talking about Pattaya is a horrible example, but Phuket also, Chiang Mai. This is a huge community in Chiang Mai and Phuket of Black men, right? I've also just came up from Africa. I've seen a lot of Black Americans in Kenya, a lot of Black Americans in Ghana. Even in Bali, I've seen they have another big community there also. So everywhere
we're in Bali. We're not in Seminyak, not in Canggu, not in Uluwatu, not in Ubud. No, they don't.
Bro, just you want me to introduce you to the WhatsApp group? What are you talking about?
Dude,
I have videos.
What's a large group to you? 10 people?
I would say in the group, I would say about 30. Yeah, but it's not. I mean, if you're gonna compare it to the Caucasians, bro, you got it. Caucasians outnumber us. They're doing more stuff than us.
Let's kill the Caucasian. Like I said, the Black Americans just aren't traveling like that, right? We aren't. Less than 1% of less than 1% of Americans, right? Black
it's more for
Americans.
arguments.
Okay,
Arguments are,
about
are they
19% of
successful?
Americans have passports, right? Of that 19%, Black Americans are about 1% of that.
Listen,
That's not a
everyone you
lot.
meet have to be in some type of succession to live abroad. So say that
We're,
black
hey,
men are
no.
not successful.
If you
it's
look, all right,
not.
living,
So-
look, keep it. If you're talking about going abroad, meeting a beautiful woman that's going to be submissive, that's everything you want, right? You are going to have to be able to live and work in that country, correct? That
Yes.
means-
Yeah, he's right about that. Yeah.
So you will have to exactly. We're not talking about weekend warriors, right? Or somebody
Yeah.
just
We're
visiting.
talking about that. We're talking people that live there.
Yeah, and that's a
I'm saying I came
small-
across
that's a small
several.
number. That's a tiny, tiny number.
He's right though. I don't know that many black people who live in in Colombia and live not just come. I know more people who come here for vacations and actually live here full time.
Yeah, exactly. And
Well,
even if they,
of course the vacation is going to outnumber the expats, but I'm just saying, I have met my double that lives over there, that lives in Vietnam, for instance, and there's communities there. There are Black American communities there. So to say that black men are not making enough to do it, it's possible. Everyone has to find their how. I'm not saying it's a one size fit all, especially if you're talking about retired military or people that work in tech. They're doing great stuff. Now I would agree with you. It is new to our culture. Like even traveling in for most black people in America, it's not a thing to get a passport. Like 5-10 years ago, that wasn't even a thing. So I think if you give us enough time to catch up, it's going to continue to increase.
What do you mean enough time to catch up? We've been able to get passports since when?
Bro, I'm talking about culturally. There's a movement. I'm from the West Indies. I had a passport since I was a child, so that's not new. That's not new to me. But I'm saying, as Black Americans as a whole, most people don't even have their passports.
Oh, I know.
Even you stated a fact just now earlier. So I'm saying this is still a new to Black culture. Even
Let us
though
on
the
another
passport bro
It
thing
shouldn't be. That's the thing. Like people look. All right. Like I was born and raised in Cali. Born and raised in California. And when folks like my family know, like, oh, Tobias, where you going? You going back to Bali? You moving to Thailand? You what are you doing? My people know I stay on flights, right? I've been grounded for this year, right? But when I do travel, people who don't know me, the first thing they ask me is, "Oh, are you in the military?" Right? Because Black folks don't travel. Why? But hold on, right?
Can I ask you why before? Because I'm about to leave. I'm about to go to work.
Yeah, I'm about to shut it down in 5 minutes. But go ahead, Azrael.
Yeah, in general, Black. You know what I realized, especially with the whole passport movement, a lot of Americans are very xenophobic to the point where they don't even think anything beyond America is great. It's not even a Black thing. Most Americans, they say 2/3 of Americans don't even have a passport, and the majority of Americans don't even leave their home state. Right? So this whole concept of as Black men is like, no, majority of people don't even want to leave the country. That goes beyond Black people. It's more concentrated to the point where Black people don't want to leave, plus economic factors. I know Black people, they feel as though America is racist, therefore anywhere else outside doesn't like Black people. How many times we hear about that? People don't want to leave because they assume, well, at least I have some civil rights in America. I don't know how anti-Black is going to be when I go to some place. Tobias, there's people always ask, how do they treat Black people? That's the first thing people ask.
Not only that, they treat you for even wanting to travel. Like I think we had on my live when we voiced our opinions on how people treated us for going to Thailand, for going to Bali, for traveling. They kind of look at you like you're weird for wanting to leave America. So I definitely understand that even though they might not even want to, it's not even just ignorance. It's a sort of xenophobia because you want to do that, because you want to travel. Like I didn't even tell my family that I was going where I was going. And when I came back, I was like, oh, well, you're in Thailand, you're in Africa, or you think you're better than us, or, they don't have electricity there, like all type of ignorant things that they will say. Just ignorance altogether.
The irony is that we're the richest country, and yet we travel the least. But here's the thing, Tobias, let me tell you, it's not of our own doing. It's more so the propaganda. My parents are Jamaican, both my parents. My mom, it was the time I couldn't get a job when I came out of high school. I was working I was in college. I was getting under weather, a little depressed, about it. My mom said, I'm gonna send you I'm gonna send you to Jamaica, right? She said I spent the whole summer there. Before I went there, I thought, no lie, I thought there was a high chance of me. I thought I was gonna die because I'm thinking all the videos I see, people in like zinc roofs, dudes with like looking like Taliban with guns and whatnot. When I went down there, I was chill. People didn't realize that I was American until I opened my mouth. And then some people would look at me because they knew there's a certain tan that people have that in Jamaica that you don't see from other people, right? It's more or less a fear of the unknown. That's what's holding a lot of people back from traveling.
Yeah, so Tobias, I mean, I think we're pretty much saying the same thing, but I just disagree with you with the whole financial thing that it's not feasible and most black men can do it. I disagree with that. I think it's very attainable. I think it's the wanting to know, like to wanting to travel, to wanting to learn, to even decide to be an expat. Even me, I don't know what country I would want to settle in. For me to say it's a money problem, like I don't have the skills, I don't have the ability, because there's also people in other countries that are doing work abroad online from from Kenya, from talk about India, Pakistan. They're working remote in our country. So I don't think it's very difficult for black men to do the same and be an expat out there.
I'm not saying that it can't be done. I'm saying that many of us just aren't doing it, right? Because you might be, you may not be pulling $150,000 a year, right? Okay, you're not, but just because you're not doesn't mean you can't have a great life in another country. I'm saying most people aren't. They're choosing not to go get, whether you might be a salesperson, you might be an engineer, you might be, a UX. It's not like I work in tech, right? I manage software engineers, so those are higher paying jobs, but you may not have anything to do in the tech field. You can still do, it might be a customer service job, right? Or even a sales job, right? That you have a tech sales job or something. You're not really have anything to do with building the product, but you're on the sales side of a tech company. Cool, right? But if you may not be making, again, 150,000, you might be making 60,000, you might be making 50. You can live in another country. I'm saying I don't see enough. I haven't seen that many brothers doing it, right? That's I just haven't seen enough brothers doing it. Not saying that they aren't, but they're not doing it and living abroad. The combination of the two.
Well, yeah, and I get what you're saying, and I understand what Trini is saying, because I do believe that, like, now with the whole passport bro movement, Blue Book gentlemen, whatever you want to call it, this movement, we're all intertwined one way or another, right? And so Azriel dropped off. Thanks, man. I appreciate you. Azriel, I didn't know that you was Jamaican too. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. I appreciate that, bro. But yeah. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Yeah, so I think that this movement is gonna have more and more people like travel and become expats and stuff. And then, like, your question was, why haven't black people started doing it earlier? And I think that it just, honestly, I think it just comes to a level of ignorance in what we were taught in school, because, like, both of my parents, born and raised in Jamaica, came over here, and both of my parents wanted me to travel. I've been traveling since I was a baby. Kind of same thing like with vlog tripping. You know what I mean? So, like, I think that if both of my parents were Black American and born in the States, I don't even know if I would have been traveling the way that I have been traveling. You know what I mean? Like, I'm about to be 39 years old in February, and I've been traveling since 3. I've had my passport since I was 3. You know what I mean? So I don't know if I would have been traveling like that. And that's a sad thing to say, because it's sad, but it's also light at the end of the tunnel. It's sad because, like, it's taken for spaces like this and things to go viral for us to really understand what our worth and our value is, not only just on a relationship, man, but just to understand that we can actually earn a profit abroad and actually live better in certain places abroad. Sorry to be long-winded, but you guys have been talking for a minute, so I kind of wanted to just say my last piece here.
Oh no, man, come on now. You know, I could be long-winded as fuck. You know, how long struggle. You know, I see where you're coming from. Me, I know I'm the anomaly. I remember like telling, you know, my mom, you know, my family, my stepdad, I'm like, look, at like 8 years old, after, you know, doing karate, hey, I'm gonna live in Japan and have a castle with ninjas in 1988, 1987. I knew a long time ago I was going to be running around the world reading encyclopedias, right? You Encyclopedia Britannica. Most of these young cats who go on Instagram don't even know what the hell an encyclopedia is. Like, what's an encyclopedia? But reading about Brazil, reading about China, reading about, you know, the USSR or Russia, right? This has always been me. This is just Tobias. This is what I do. And it will always be. I love seeing other brothers abroad, right? That's one thing I love to do, is see other brothers. I mean, as long as you ain't no fuck shit, no bitch shit. Because, you know, some cats, yeah, but yeah, they don't know how to say, like, oh, come on now, dog. But yeah, love to see brothers abroad, man. Like, for real. So I ain't got nothing else to say. I'm about to drop off. This is let me stop.
Yeah, no. I'm yeah, like we hit the 3-hour mark, but yeah. So so before you drop off, Ethan, what did you have anything else?
I would say if you guys want to travel, you know, get a remote job, you know, plan it out. And just, you know, test it out and try to escape. It's not too hard to find a remote job these days. As you know, I've been looking at the online. There's a lot more jobs, and this is a good time to get hired for Christmas season, holiday season. So, yep.
Yes, absolutely. I'm glad that you mentioned that. Fourth quarter. So fourth quarter is October through the end of December. So typically, like, I would say like around like the beginning of September, right? Like if you guys are looking for like new jobs or stuff like that, whether it be remote or just a job in general, that is the perfect time to be looking, like right at the beginning of September, because companies want to get ready for their fourth quarter, right? Another thing, you know, and Tobias, you probably can attest to this, around like February or March, maybe some companies, maybe April, but that's when they start the new fiscal year. And that's when companies have a lot of money to spend. So around those two times, fourth quarter and first quarter, definitely.
Yeah, I would, you know what, let's add a caveat to that. It depends on the industry you're in. Right?
That's true.
It depends on it depends on the industry. So me being, you know, I work in tech. For us, like most companies, you know, their fiscal year is going to end at the end of the year, and their finance departments are, you know, doing their numbers from like right now, just say September through the end of the year. They get their budget in order. So like, hey, you know, we need to hire X amount of new employees for, you know, for all these positions. Okay, and then they start pumping out their job descriptions like mid December, because some companies will shut down, or you know, get like resumes, you know, from people from like mid December to like mid January. So they got their pipeline and they start to hire. People will start actually hiring, and you'll have like a lot of times a start date by like, you know, like February 15th. But again, it depends on, I will say it depends on what industry you're in.
Yeah, so yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm in STEM, so that so our fiscal year, especially like because I'm more like on the you know, product support, product management, procurement. So all of that kind of goes into play with my timeline.
True that. Like I said, it's different industries, you know, will have, you know, like their different like fiscal years. Some would have ended in, you know, in September. Like I said, it just depends on the industry. So, but you know, if you looking for something, hey, make sure always keep your resume straight and just apply where you see, you know, where you try to get in where you fit in. especially if remote. There's a lot of, there is still a lot of remote jobs out there, like a ton. It's just, you got to do due diligence and find the ones that that work best for you.
Yes, absolutely, man. Yeah, man, I appreciate you holding down the fort in the chat. But guys, thank you so much for all of you guys who actually participated and saw the interview with Lucario and I. So definitely make sure that you all go back and check that one out. I appreciate you all for tuning in. And catch me tomorrow. I will be live on Instagram at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's see what else I got. Oh, this upcoming Thursday at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, I have an interview with 4 Filipino ladies. So going to be talking about their dating experiences with foreigners in the Philippines. So that's going to be interesting to talk about. And shout out to my man Average Man Unplugged for introducing me to these 4 ladies. So that's going to be good, man. And then I'm trying to think what else I got going on. I don't know. I might have something going on Friday. But anyway, I appreciate you all for watching. I'm about to try to watch some of the football game that's left over. But thank you so much. Stay purposeful, and your boy is out. Peace.